Welcome to the channel of PACIFIC414. Show us this loyalty. Throw yourself onto the subscribe button and submit yourself to the live streams, gaming streams, and so much more. Pathetic earthlings, I command you.
Pop Talk is where it's at, baby.
Warning, due to adult language and humor, the following content may not be suitable for any viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following live stream or video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Good afternoon and welcome one and all to PACIFIC414 Pop Talk along with Baron Orman Tagge. I am your host Mike and I'm laughing because of the token cash money. That's right.
Oh,
Cash
these
money.
people.
Yeah. Hi guys. I'm not able to join you today because I'm going to be spending time with my family. What happened to us, Cash? Aren't we family?
We're family.
You know, Phil McCracken says he doesn't have any friends, but his friends are his family. Yeah, Cash has some family responsibilities to take care of this weekend, so that is why he's not here, but we're going to give him a hard time anyway, even though he's not here.
Well, what's he doing? Washing dishes, going to the whole market getting kale, going to the bank, or going to the bank. Oh, is it the internet service again? The guys with the little zippy things to take the nipples out and go, yeah.
I believe he was going to a convention this weekend.
A convention? Oh, that's right. His dad has that gaming convention stuff he likes to go to.
Yeah. So that's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, I guess.
Cash, I hope you're having a lot of fun.
You know what it is? Cash's job is to breathe on the dice before his dad rolls it for good luck. Just like in the casinos.
Come here, son.
Mm-hmm. No, do I have to again?
Oh, come on, Dad. Nah, son, you got to do it.
Exhale that
D20. Dad. Stop complaining and do it.
Actually, this is actually what's happening with Cash right now.
I'll have your bleeding heads for this.
Why, sire, what is wrong? Is not this mating successful?
Successful? As far as the Queen is concerned, I've had it.
Oh, well, it's all right then.
Will you shut up and listen? She has got to go.
But this need not be a serious problem, sire.
You know the Queen, sire, never on time for anything.
Well, this is the last time she'll keep me waiting, I promise you.
Yes, indeed, sire. Unless she's late for her own funeral.
That's what's going on. That's what's going on.
Yes, indeed. But before we begin with today's topics, I do want to say hello to, of course, Baron Orman Tagge.
Oh, wow.
I know you're on the panel, but I'm still gonna greet you. I'm not gonna say you're on the panel and why are you in the chat. I know why you're in the chat.
I'm not on the channel. It's cash money. It's token cash money.
And of course, Kathy Skywalker. And we have Prismatics here on the YouTube side. And And we also have Jet Sparks on the YouTube side. And Real Wade Gaming Clips. And we also have Leia Rose. Now, everybody on the YouTube side, I know you're seeing that StreamYard link. Please note that that link is for Kathy since she was unable to join us on Thursday for the 46th anniversary celebration of Star Wars. So that is for her. This is not an open panel. The open panels are done for the month. There will be more open panels coming up. I just don't know when they're going to happen in June, but they'll happen. But please note that that invite link there is for Kathy Skywalker and Kathy Skywalker only.
Let's just put it this way: anybody who tries to get in other than Kathy Skywalker, this will happen.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
We'll get 66 on your ass. How's that sound? Did that sound intimidating?
That sounded intimidating, and I was
Okay, good.
I was going to play another clip.
Oh,
And
good.
also, I do want to make note that this is on the Twitch page. For some reason, Kick isn't working, so I'm going to have to troubleshoot that even more to see what's going on.
Kicks.
Even though I copied the URL and the stream key exactly as it was, but this is just a warning for anyone else who isn't named Kathy Skywalker who tries to click on that link.
Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? That's what happens.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I'll behave. I won't
Well,
use that link.
Baron.
What?
You already have access to the panel.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
Baron. But also, I do also want to make note that this weekend is Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. And I know a lot of people, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm saying this as a matter of fact, a lot of people get Memorial Day confused with Veterans Day. Veterans Day is where we honor those who have served. Memorial Day is where we honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I think it's very important that we remember that we wouldn't have this country if it wasn't for those who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting for our country. So at this time, I would like us to take a moment of silence in remembrance of those who lost their lives. Thank you.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people just turned this into the first real holiday. Let's go out, have fun. But this is a solemn holiday. We need to remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, and of course those afterwards. I mean, even after the war, when they passed on, a lot of them were still fighting the war in one fashion or another, whether it be injuries or the stress that they dealt with. So even those that have passed after the case, they were still fighting the war, and they must be remembered as well. But any veteran will tell you our day is November 11th, 11th day, 11th month, 11th day, 11th hour, when the armistice was signed, formerly Armistice Day. But this is where we are solemn and remember those that made that. So I hope people, will take that moment to remember that, especially if you did have people that were in your family that did make the sacrifice.
And, even members of your family who served with those who lost, and you've heard the stories about that individual that they got to know when they were fighting, whether it be World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, and Desert Storm. and Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Mhm.
So again, it is important to remember those men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Mhm.
So now, for today's Pop Talk, I selected 3 articles, and I have told Baron if there's something that he wants to discuss, we can certainly discuss it on today's episode. And Kathy, if you're able to get in, I know you're saying it didn't work, but if you're able to hop on at any time, and I will give a recommendation, try logging into StreamYard with your YouTube channel or Facebook to see if maybe it'll log you in then. But if you're able to get on here, Kathy, I want to hear your thoughts on Star Wars. The questions that I would have asked you on Thursday, Star Wars stream, just to hear from your perspective of what it was like to see Star Wars back in 1977.
Mhm.
And Prismatics also says today is also Pentecost
Mhm.
White Sunday. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Pentecost with Sunday. Yep, this is the 50th day. That's when the tongues of flame were on top of the apostles' heads, and they were speaking many languages.
Mhm.
Or more importantly, not that they were speaking in many languages; they were understood in all the languages. Be correct.
Yes. So, our first article that I'm going to go into is one from Bounty in the Comics, and it's Quentin Tarantino shares his thoughts on what Eon Productions should do for their next James Bond films. I think they should not remake the movies, but actually just do the book.
You know something? So far with that opening statement, I agree. But let's see where Quentin Tarantino goes, and if he wants to have what's her name be in there because of her feet, Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, thank you. I'm surprised he hasn't tapped her for a movie yet because he's got to be going nuts over those feet.
I don't know who would, unless you got a feet fetish.
So that's Tarantino.
Yeah. And Kathy says, still unable to join you.
Oh, that's a shame.
I wonder what's going on. I wonder if your browser needs an update, or if there might be a software update for your device that you're using it on, whether it's your phone, your tablet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we were talking before the show. I normally use Brave, but I found out the reason why everything gets so choppy and people can't understand me. For some reason, it doesn't work on Brave. I'm having to use Firefox now to come on here, which, okay, whatever. At least I can get on. But yeah, there's some strange stuff's happening out there.
Technology.
I
Where's
love it.
Scotty when you need him?
Yeah, this is why I'm a technophobe, guys and girls.
So this article begins, and this article is by John F. Trent, and it was posted on Friday. Quentin Tarantino recently shared his thoughts on what Eon Productions, the production company that makes the James Bond films, should do for their next James Bond movies. Speaking with Deadline, Tarantino first detailed how he initially wanted to do a one and done Casino Royale film, but he was unable to do so due to the Broccoli family buying up the rights to everything Ian Fleming wrote. Tarantino revealed, we reached out to the Ian Fleming people, and they had suggested that they still own the rights to Casino Royale, and that's what I wanted to do after Pulp Fiction, was do my version of Casino Royale. And it would have taken place in the 60s and wasn't about a series of Bond movies. We would have cast an actor to be one and done. So I thought we could do this.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turned out that the Broccolis 3 years earlier figured out somebody was going to try to do what I did. And so what they did is they made a blanket deal with the Fleming estate and said that we have the movie rights to everything he's ever written. We're going to just give you a bunch of money. This is for every single thing he's ever written. If anybody wants to make a movie out of it, they got to come to us, he explained.
Hmm.
And it goes on to say, like every short story, every travel book, if I want to make a movie of thrilling cities, I need to go to the Broccolis, Tarantino emphasized. That's for everything he wrote, to stop somebody from being a wise guy and trying to do what I did.
That means
When
even
I,
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is under that.
yeah.
Mhm.
When asked what he thinks, Eon Productions, the company owned by Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, and produces the James Bond films to do for their next films, Tarantino had a simple answer: adapt the books. He told Deadline, I mean, they always start from scratch when it comes to somebody new because that's saying somebody couldn't have been going through the stuff that happened in the Thunderball. All right. And it goes on to say, I'll tell you, I actually have a thought process about this. What I think they should do, and I've been thinking they should do this for a long time, is so many of the books have these really classic names and really classic adventures. And for the most part, a lot of them, they never did the book. They never did the stories, Tarantino relayed. They took the plot and maybe the Bond girl or maybe the villain and then just went their own way, he explained. Tom, Makowitz just goes his own way. He did the writing for a lot of them. Tarantino then asserted, I think they should not remake the movies, but actually just do the books, but do them the way they were written, and those would all be brand new. Tarantino's advice is something not just Eon Productions, but anyone who wants to adapt already written material should take.
Mhm.
There's a reason these stories were chosen for film adaptation in the first place, and one of them is because they were already well written and had proven success. It's just common sense to actually adapt the source material rather than writing your own stories and using the material as a skin suit. And it sounds like simple logic to me.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's unlikely they will take Tarantino's advice or follow simple common sense. Ian Fleming Publications authorized new James Bond novels back in 2021 that would not feature James Bond and reimagine a number of Fleming's classic characters.
Mm.
Johnny Geller, a literary agent who represents Ian Fleming Productions, commented, we struck gold with the latest collaboration with Kim Sherwood, as not only is she a fine novelist, but a Fleming aficionado of the highest order. A reimagining of some of our favorite characters and world building will delight any fan of James Bond and Ian Fleming. Well, I'd have to read it to find out.
Mhm.
On top of this, Barbara Broccoli told Variety, following the release of No Time to Die, that future films would explore Bond's emotional side.
Uh,
Pointing to Daniel Craig's version of the character and his filmography, Broccoli noted that he cracked Bond open emotionally. And the films over his tenure were the first time we really connected the emotional arc. But okay,
mhm.
maybe it's just me, Baron, but does James Bond have to have an emotional arc? I don't think so.
No,
He's an international man of mystery.
right. He's a machine. Literally, he's a machine. He's got the double O, which means he's got a license to kill. He's in the books. He's cold. He's ruthless. He's nothing like what you really see. I mean, I think one of the closest you could really say they got on James Bond, I'd say, was Timothy Dalton. That started getting more reflective of how James Bond was in the books. Not, obviously not 100%, but was getting closer to that. But yeah, I mean, and especially if we're going to do these as a period piece, my God, these films would be beautiful, and they'd be gritty, and they'd be rough, and there's no reason to look into that. That is not what Bond is about. It's about getting the job done, getting some pretty ladies, and trying not to get killed himself.
Mm-hmm. And it goes on here in the article by saying that Broccoli noted they plan to continue to explore those themes, saying it's an evolution. Bond is evolving just as men are evolving. I don't know who's evolving at a faster pace. And then it asks, what, like every other article asks, what's your make of Tarantino's? I mean, honestly, they should adapt the books, but they shouldn't change Bond from being the machine that he is. Like you said, Baron.
This is Cold War stuff. This is, and of course, this is coming off of Ian Fleming being part of the the English Secret Service himself during the war, working on that. So dealing was it? I think he's also was related to Christopher Lee, who was also involved in a lot of stuff, and he knew the hardships that these people went through, how cold and methodical they were, and again, mechanical. I have a job to do. I can't think about anything else, and that's what they're trained for. Why? They live for the moment because they'll probably die in a matter of minutes, hours, or days. If something goes wrong, so it's like, okay, I'll bed this woman, and because seize the moment, seize the day. I'm good. I gotta get this job done. So there is really not an emotional way of looking at Bond. You start going to that when you start weakening the character. You start weakening the character, his job becomes less effective. I mean, the real problem, especially when they started going with the Timothy Dalton era, that's when they decided to go that, okay, Bond can only have one woman. Of course, they're all concerned because of the AIDS crisis at the time, because he's always sleeping around. We can't portray that no more. But that's Bond. He's a sailor.
And here's another thing. I realized, the AIDS crisis, was out of control in the 80s. But still, you're dealing with a fictional character in a fictional world.
Right.
Wouldn't you want to stay true to that character? I know that's hard for Hollywood to do anymore. Even back then, it's hard for them to do. But
yeah,
wouldn't you want to stay true to the character? I think I would.
Yeah, but even back then, they had their own form of virtual signaling, and they had to get on bandwagons and such, and it started affecting characters such as this. I would love to see an adaptation. And I want to actually, to be honest with you, I know he said one and done for him, but to continue on with the other books. I mean, Moonraker is nothing like the James Bond film. Nothing like the James Bond film, the book. That became the silly Star Wars, we got to do our own form of doing Star Wars with James Bond. But as it goes, keep to the source. Look at the success of the Lord of the Rings. And how much Peter Jackson tried to keep to the original source material through all that. Yeah, he did some changes. Didn't necessarily agree with all, but at least he was faithful to the book. Or books, I should say.
And there were even people who watched Harry Potter. And they liked the movies for the most part, but they did have their issues because there were certain aspects of the book that weren't included in the movie. I should say movies.
Yeah, movies. That's why I'm not too terribly upset with them wanting to remake them as what they're talking about, like a miniseries from scratch and trying to keep it to the book itself. If they can keep the quality up, I have no problems. I have no problem with the remake if they're trying to get closer to that source material. If they're doing a remake because, oh, we'll just take this and run with it and then make it even more crappy, no. But anytime someone says, I want to get to the remake it, I want to get back to that real source material, I want it to be how it is, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm all for it too. Let's make it true to the source material. I mean, let's go ahead and bring up Star Trek Resurgence.
Yeah.
Okay. What you saw, what did you think of it?
You died a lot. No, but in all seriousness, well, you said it was like watching an episode. I wouldn't know. It's like watching a movie. I mean, it was one step beyond an episode. It was like watching an epic Star Trek movie like you would have gotten. And even though you didn't necessarily have the familiar characters as your main cast, you did have Riker, you did have Spock, which was such wonderful. And yeah, a bit of that fan service, but it was done well because it had reference points to the various stories that you already had. So it wasn't one of these forced things. It was, this is what a Star Trek series or Star Trek movie should be. And I'm just sitting back going, why can't they even import something like that into Star Trek Online and have missions like that instead of always constantly battle? You know, we have the 3 waves, you have the bosses, and you have the final bosses. Okay, yay, okay, we got through all that. But that one is you know, it's not boss battles. It was a continuing storyline between the 2 characters, and yeah, you sat back and you watched a lot of stuff in the dialogue. But that's what's important. That's what Star Trek's about.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek isn't necessarily this big full-fledged action thing. I'm sorry I missed the end of it too, because I had to go to a stream. But you
That's
on that?
All right.
That
I didn't think I was going to be going 8.5 hours. and you know, you're talking about the story, but that's the thing. It drew me further into the story the more I found out. It's like, I don't want to stop this.
I had a hard time breaking off of it, but it's like, oh, I gotta go. I hate to do this because I was really wrapped up into what was going on, and I hope that shows up like on Steam soon because I'd love to play that game. That's a game you could play hard and play it again and go different paths to see what would the outcome be.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I plan to do. I probably won't stream it, but I do plan on going back and, you know, making different choices that I made the first time around. Just to see what kind of ending I get, you know, and you'll see it when you watch the end. I actually showed my stats from this first playthrough, and there were some choices that I made that only 9%, 17%, 11% of players, including myself, made. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the next time I go through the game and what those stats are after all is said and done. When I make different choices. And hello to you, Keely Chow, Roll Tide, brother, Roll Tide. But, you know, playing that game, even from starting it on Tuesday with part 1, then going 8 hours last night because I was immersed in the story. I was captured in the story, like one should be if they're watching a movie or a television show. But it felt like Star Trek. There was, you know, some minuscule things that some people might consider woke, but you know what? It doesn't interfere with the story. It doesn't take away any iota from the story. It draws you in. You learn about Rydek. You learn about Diaz. And as you go through, you have to make these choices that will change their relationships with other members of the crew on board the Resolute. And, you know, some for the better and some for the worse.
I mean, being that was partitioned out in parts, that could have been something that Paramount Plus could have done as a miniseries for Star Trek. But no, we you know, it's not the Abrams abomination. Yeah, I know, and people like it, but you know, all that was a popcorn flick that was imitating Star Trek. It wasn't Star Trek. None of those Star Trek films were, and it's definitely not Kurtzman's abomination.
Because you know what made me realize I was playing a genuine Star Trek game, at least made by people who actually love Star Trek, not just when you hear familiar sound effects, but when you look around the design of the ship, it doesn't look like the ships that you see now on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
On the exterior or interior. It
Right.
looks like a ship that you would have seen during Next Generation's run, DS9's run, Voyager's run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the interiors were slightly different, like the hallways were slightly different to market as its own ship, but it was still familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a little bit more curved instead of angular, but still, they still had that look.
Yeah. Every ship that you see in Star Trek has had its own interior design look. Even Voyager had its own interior design look for its corridors and its quarters and the mess hall. Next Generation, you had 10 Forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the reuse sets from the Star Trek, the motion picture, and, Star Trek 5 used the same sets because they were still in use.
Mm-hmm.
But even the Defiant had a different look because it was a different type of ship.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Resolute in this game, as it should, had a different look. Even its warp core was different than any warp core that you'd seen before in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But it still looked like a Starfleet Federation starship warp core from that particular era. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, it didn't look like a brewery.
No. And I do want to say hello to Pat S. How are you doing, Pat S?
Yeah, you're a troublemaker.
And yes, Pat S. Right now, Star Trek is Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But Star Trek Resurgence is not. And I'm going to say this because I've said it over and over again, but it's true. Some people don't like Epic Games. I get that. I get why they don't want to give money to Epic Games, but I had a gift card that I was given by my sister for my birthday, and I thought, you know what? This is what I'm going to use this gift card on.
Listen
I'm
to
going
this.
to check out this game.
I had a gift card. Listen to that. Oh, yeah. You're gifted.
Yeah, it was a gift. So, you know what? If there's any kind of gift I know that my sister would have given me, it's something Star Trek related, Doctor Who related, Star Wars related, you name it. She would have found something that I would have liked. So I picked it up, and I'm glad I picked it up, and I highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm. You look like you're having fun, even when you're getting killed.
I was, and that's another thing too. Is there's a section where you're going along near the end of the game to get to the main MacGuffin to shut it down. And I kept dying over and over again, but it's like, I don't want to stop this. I even said it on stream. I said, I don't want to stop this right now. Not when I'm so close.
And folks, he's actually snuck around for once. He was sneaky.
You hear that, Cash Buddy? I used stealth.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for me to use stealth in games. It's like, come on, I want to shoot something.
Yeah. Sneaky.
But no, I highly recommend Star Trek Resurgence, and I really do think that Quentin Tarantino was right. Adapt the stories from the actual books, word for word, for the next James Bond. Not just one film, but all the films that they want to come out with in the future.
Yeah,
there's plenty of source material.
And keep it period piece too, because the big thing about James Bond is, and I think what's making it kind of suffer now, it was a creature of its time. It's a Cold War story, storyline, and go ahead, do that. We love period pieces. We love looking at this historical, looking at all the wonderful cars, and take a look at England and other areas, in the past, because you can do that now with all that special effects. It'd be nice to have that little time travel, especially people who didn't necessarily live in that time. But it's easier to get immersed sometimes into the story that way. It's like, wow, this is like another world.
Yeah, because you look at how everything is now and how everything was back then. It's exactly that. Another world, another time.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we all talk about here with Paul, the Pop Talk, and talk about our favorite franchises, because these are the important things. We are being transported, and each one of these universes have their own style. Of course, now they now painting everything in one brush, and they think, because it's this, it's all the same, and it's watered down all the stuff that we love. And of course, need to say, uh, just a bunch of political crap that they want to push down our throat. Uh, it's to get back to the original, get back to what things are about and good storytelling. I bet you that would be a heck of a Bond film. It'd probably make a lot of money. I think it would be.
This is related to resurgence. Once again, I know I haven't shut up about it, but
Yeah, you haven't.
but really,
Yeah.
get people who care about the franchises and actually do a deep dive into the source material and say, okay, this book, we need to turn it into a movie, the
Mm-hmm.
entire thing, not change it, just adapt it to a script.
Mm-hmm.
Cast, shoot, and bam, there you go, your next James Bond movie.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's going to be, you have to make some, because of translation, so you have to make some modifications, but still keep it as close to the original as possible.
Absolutely. All right. So, speaking of maybe keeping it as close to the original as possible, but upgrading it for modern systems, and I was interested in this story because I no longer have the original game.
Mm.
Konami announces Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake and 3-game collection. So let's delve deeper into this story. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the story into the chat. And let's go ahead and read this.
Yay.
The story was posted 2 days ago by Tommy Williams, and it says Konami recently made 2 huge announcements regarding the Metal Gear Solid franchise. First, they announced a remake of the popular Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater called Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, or Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Goes on to say this is said to be a faithful remake of the 2004 game that launched on the PS2 and allowed fans to experience Big Boss origin story. What's more is the Metal Gear Solid Delta will feature the original voice actors as well as features of combat survival in the harsh environments evolved with unprecedented graphics and immersive sound. This is very exciting, and fans can look forward to enjoying the game in the future on PC via Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. It also goes on to say the other Metal Gear Solid news is the upcoming release of the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. This collection features the first 3 titles in the Metal Gear series, with Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 being the HD collection versions. This should be a great way to introduce new fans to the franchise and prepare them for Metal Gear Solid Delta, as well as a fantastic way for older fans to get back into the swing of things before the remake launches. Master Collection Volume 1 will launch this fall and contain the following. All right. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the original version. I can get behind that. And I know I've said before, I don't like remakes of games.
Right.
Except when I no longer have the system to play the game on, or I no longer have the game. In this case, I don't have either anymore.
Hmm.
So I can get behind this.
Oh.
Now, if you guys want to laugh, you will see me have to use stealth in Metal Gear Solid. So that might give you some laughs, and I'll have to get back into the swing of things with the Metal Gear Solid series anyway. It's a fun series.
Hmm.
All right, so it goes on to say the development team has shared the following message about both titles. We thank you and sincerely appreciate your continuous support. Currently, the development team are working together to create an environment where fans can experience and enjoy the Metal Gear series on the latest platforms. We are remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, one of the most beloved installments of the Metal Gear series, revealing the origin story of Snake as Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. And of course, they mentioned Delta, and it goes on to say, we're working hard on Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater to be a faithful recreation of the original story and game design while evolving the gameplay with stunning visuals and a seamless user experience.
Hmm.
Simultaneously, we will deliver the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection series, the most complete compilation that celebrates the 35th anniversary of the series. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection allows fans to play the games as they were as first released on the latest platforms. We hope you will enjoy the Metal Gear series on the latest platforms. Which of these announcements make you excited? Both of that, but I'm noticing what's missing is the very original Metal Gear games that actually came out.
Hmm.
Metal Gear 1 and 2. I wonder if they have any plans on releasing those games in some sort of collection.
Well, didn't they say that was like a volume one? So maybe.
Well, the volume 1 will consist of these games up here from the
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid series.
Hmm.
But there's two other, and there might even be more than the two, but right now I'm thinking of the two Metal Gear games that actually came out on PC. They came
Hmm.
out on the NES
Hmm.
back in the 80s.
Right.
In case anybody might be wondering, 35 years, it hasn't been 35 years for Metal Gear Solid. No, it hasn't, but it has been 35 years for the Metal Gear franchise.
Hmm. And again, when it comes around the remake, the same thing goes for games as it goes for movies or TV or whatever. I have no problems in taking these older games, especially when they're harder to get, or like you were saying, people don't have the systems uh, and such. The graphics and stuff can be dated to freshen it up, as long as they keep it to what the original game was.
Mm-hmm.
I know the big thing for KOTOR, this remake that you're doing, is people were really getting a little hacked because they were saying they were going to change the story, I suppose, to influence the times today or whatever. I don't know, but it's like, no, you don't need to do that. Just make the game look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it to what the game was. I would love to see Dark Forces redone. I'd love to see Duke Nukem redone.
Hail to the king, baby.
You got it. And with the better graphics and such, and more of vivid, landscapes and such. I'd love to see that. But of course, I don't think we'll. Maybe this will encourage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You never know. And I get Low Specs point too.
Mhm.
You don't want them to remake the game like you were saying, or they change the story.
Mhm.
You want to keep it to the original story, like you were saying.
Right.
I don't mind if they want to give you a different perspective as opposed to what you had in the original game. Say you had the over the camera view in the original game. Well, now we're going to give you an option where you can actually have a first person view, so you can actually look around a bush or look around a truck, a barrel, whatever obstacle that might be in your way, so you have a better idea where the enemies are, so you can be better at stealth.
Right.
I can hear everybody snickering, like better at stealth. But no, really, it just goes back to James Bond. It goes back to Resurgence. As long as this quote unquote remake is true to its original source material and doesn't drastically change anything, I think it's going to be a good thing. Now, I definitely will pick up the Master Collection.
Mhm.
And yes, I will stream Metal Gear Solid and eventually Sons of Liberty and the original Snake Eater. And you can all sit back, relax, and laugh and go, Mike, you have to use stealth there. This is a stealth game. And what did you do? You got caught. Use that box right there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this collection. And as soon as we, get any game footage of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, the remake,
Mhm.
that'll help determine whether I pick the game up or not.
Right.
I don't want to see just cut scene footage. I want to see actual gameplay footage.
Mhm.
So that's really all I have to say about this story. And if you have anything that you want to add, or anybody in the chat has anything they want to add,
Yeah.
by all means, go ahead.
First verse same as the second, or second verse same as the first. There we go. Let's say it right. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like people are thinking of getting back to. Let's get back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need.
So, yeah, I was just gonna say that too.
Mm-hmm.
That is all we need. Just get back to the basics. Now, Barrett.
Yo.
Is there a story that you want to talk about?
I hadn't really even thought about it, to be honest with you. I mean, has there been? I mean, obviously, we had the 46th anniversary of Star Wars and the 25th. We had that. They had that show, and of course, the 23rd was the 40th. 40 years of Return of the Jedi. That is just hardly. I remember going into the theater for that one. The Southtown Theater. It's like, and it's just almost seems like yesterday. I feel old now.
Yeah,
I feel old.
I was 5 years old in '83.
Mm. And
Just a little snot.
Yep, you were just a little one. Yeah. But I mean, I really didn't have any stories on my own. I was going to be right along. I didn't realize we were going to be abandoned by cash. I should have figured that out, though. I should have figured that out.
He may have said that he was going to a convention, but this is actually what's happening. Although, don't be surprised if I use that on a future edition of Pop Talk, just in case we are having technical difficulties.
I think that's going to be used quite a bit. I really do. And and with Cash not around here, we don't get to hear this.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, we don't get that.
Hey, Cassie's gonna say, I really love it when people talk about me when I'm not on Pop Talk. That's because you're a co-host. We're gonna talk about you regardless.
Yeah. I mean, this is what he's gonna say.
Help! I'm being repressed.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought that's usually what you say because I don't let you talk about certain things.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
And let's see. Padawannabe saying, never played the game. I may choose stealth, but don't make me use it all the time. Well, Padawannabe, in the Metal Gear Solid series, you do pretty much have to use it all the time. all the time. But you do get used to it.
Mm-hmm. You have to, at least. I mean, all those times that you played that game, I would have thought that stealth would have sunk into you.
What? Huh? What?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that would have trained you.
What are you talking about? It killed me, man. It killed me. It's like, come on, I want to shoot this guy. What do you mean I have to climb this air duct and sneak around and then jump out of the air duct and knock this guy out before he sees me? Come on. You're cramping my style.
Yeah, but you could knock people out. I mean, you surprise them. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, of course it's fun.
Hmm.
Oh, and Gap, you know who we are and what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say you do here?
Exactly. And of course,
we try to provide an entertaining show. That's what we try to do.
And we must remember Mike's model.
Respect my authority.
Yeah, his model.
I like that. PACIFIC414. Respect my authority.
There we go. Yeah.
I like that. And Gab is saying, you people.
You people.
What do you mean by you people?
These people.
And he also says, I thought you were used to crawl spaces, Mike. Very funny, Gap. Very funny. Well, we got a wise ass here. We got a wise ass.
What else is new? What else is new?
And of course, from Whoopstotska. Yes. Hello. Hello, Emperor Whoopa Troopa.
Whoopa, whoopa, whoopa.
Respect it, Mike? No. You respect my authority, Whoopa. Let's see. Whoopa's also saying, you always know my motto about stealth. And then he says, hello. What's your motto about stealth? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. Come on. You got to tell us. Do it. Do it now. Come on, Whoopa.
To the chopper.
Oh, by the way, I checked out episode 1 of Fubar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what to make of it yet. I'm really not. Yeah, there was a point where it was woke. But it's only episode 1, and my thing is 3 episodes, and after the 3rd episode, if I'm not impressed, then I won't continue on. But I'm not sure what to make of this series yet. I'll have to show it to you after the stream and see what you think.
Okay.
And let's see. Gav's saying he sees 2 wise asses on the screen. Also, so there's 3 and 1 absent. Well, you see, Cash is in here.
Yeah.
Cash is in here. He's actually with family. And he's at a convention. So I'm sure we're going to hear all about it. And
yeah. He's breathing on his dad's dice, so he gets good rolls in the game. So just like those gambling.
And to answer your question, Gap, Fubar is a new series on Netflix with Arnold. Come on. That's right. I did my Arnold impression last Sunday. I'm doing it again. Come on.
Gappa!
Get to the Gappa.
Sorry, when I told you I'd kill you last, I lied.
It's too easy to do an Arnold impression.
Mm. Oh, when it comes around to action movies, he was the king. He was the king, baby.
Yeah, yeah, and I could agree with this, Whoopa. Whoopa's saying my motto about stealth: if no enemies survive the fight, then technically you did it stealthy.
Then you nuke him from space. If that's the case. You nuke him from space and you get this.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Whoopa also adds, no witnesses equals stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That'd be a good shirt.
Yeah. $1 million idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Come on, Gab. You don't have to be that cruel.
yeah. I mean, it's getting roasted enough.
Yeah.
That film. Oh,
Yeah, there's even a video I saw this morning where people who are watching the movie decided they're going to start a fight.
oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, God. Why?
Yep. I don't know. Probably over something stupid. Isn't that how most fights start?
Especially nowadays. Yeah. Especially nowadays. Oh, God. It's just people are losing their shit, man. They're losing it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we are, but the people are just losing it out there. Yeah, actually, I think Whoop is right about that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, every day you see a video on Twitter now, whether it's present or it's from a few years ago, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
You see all these videos of people just going batshit crazy. It's like, what's wrong with people?
Well, kind of a guilty pleasure I have is watching on YouTube. They have these videos about idiots in cars and trucks and stuff like that. And and these are recent stuff. It's like you see the date stamps on there, and the stupid things that people doing and getting angry and getting the fights. And you have Steve Eman, or however you pronounce his name. He does his commentary videos to all this stuff that's going on out there. And it's not just the United States, folks. If you think this is just the United States thing, it's not. It's all over the friggin' world. People are losing their shit big time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, what? It's like I'm kind of glad I'm holed up in my little cottage here. It's like I don't think I want to leave. I'll stay right here, it's nice and quiet. Squirrel,
it when I go to the grocery store, I go in, grab what I need, go to an open checkout, pay for it, and leave.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
A lot of times I'll just keep to myself.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm kind of antisocial in public. I do have a little social anxiety, so I'm usually to myself, anyways, when I go out and about and go into the stores. But yeah, it even makes it harder to want to go up there.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up the third article that I selected for today's Pop Talk. And the third article, as you see here, is Will Farrell to play John Madden in David O. Russell movie about Madden NFL video game series.
I don't know what to make of this.
I'm not sure either. I just don't see Will Ferrell being able to channel John Madden.
No, what's the name of that comedian that could do it? And he pissed off Madden enough he didn't want him back on the Fox.
Will Sasso?
No, not Will Sasso. Not Sasso.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, let me look at my little Wayback Machine here.
I can picture him because he was on Mad TV.
Right, yeah. Because Sasso did the Did like Arnold and stuff like that. And I'm just going to look into see in my Wayback Machine impersonator, because this guy was good. He could do a great impression. And Frank Caliendo.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be the better one to have play the part. I mean, he's kind of chubby, and let's face it, so was Madden, and
Yeah.
he's got the voice down and the mannerisms down. But Farrell, Ricky Bobby, I don't know.
I don't know. Frank the Tank from Old School? I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Will Farrell as is. Yeah, he had some good stuff, but overall, I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell at all. I have to see Anchorman though. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Now that does look good. But
it's a funny movie, but it's more of an ensemble piece because he's not the only one that you see. You see Christina Applegate and you see Steve Carell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it works better in that type of thing instead of being the star. People are going to hate me on this. I view the same thing with John Candy. I thought John Candy worked better with playing off of others than by himself, even though Uncle Buck was a good film. But he always worked better when he was teamed up or working with an ensemble cast. I think it's because he had more to play off of. He could play off the people he was around. And that's where he was great. That's where Candy was great. And that's probably the same thing with Farrell. Some people are that way. They need to have an ensemble or somebody to play off of. Some people work better by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit it right here, right now. I could do Pop Talk by myself, but it'd be a completely different show.
Yeah, it'd be a
by myself. I mean, watch the game streams. That's pretty much what it would be like.
Oh, I don't know about this. You want tater salad to play, huh?
I don't know if that would work, but hey, let's try anything at this point. It seems,
oddly enough, that could work. That could work, but the thing is the one thing about Madden is he has to get the voice.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not get the voice down, you have lost it because he had that distinct style of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Howard Cosell here. If you're going to have Howard Cosell, you need to have someone who talks like Howard Cosell.
You need to have someone who's willing to take the time to not only watch old, videos on Madden, but also take the time to listen to his voice where you can start practicing and you can get the voice down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Frank Caliendo did that. He did a masterful job of that. I mean, like I said, to the point that Madden was pissed off. He thought he was being mocked by Caliendo. He wasn't.
No, it's all in good fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get into this article and see if we can get any further details on this. And this article was posted on Friday. It's by Kofi Outlaw. It says Will Farrell is set to play NFL coach John Madden in a new biopic about how Madden got involved in creating the mega hit Madden NFL video game series. The Amazon MGM film is
yeah.
Oh no.
I was waiting for that.
A
little bit longer of a delay than I expected, but I was expecting that.
There is an appropriate clip to play.
There is, I'm sure.
Oh,
there always is.
Well, no, it's not it stinks.
No. He's looking. We have too many clips, folks. We have so many clips.
Yeah. I need to narrow it down. Heck, I'm gonna play this.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The Amazon MGM film is titled Madden, and it will be based on a script by Cameron Clark, which was included as part of last year's Hollywood blacklist of highly coveted unproduced scripts. Todd Black will produce the film for Escape Artist. The story of Madden reportedly follows John Madden after his retirement from the NFL when he met the team at Electronic Arts and created an NFL football simulation game that would go on to become synonymous with the sports league and one of the biggest franchises in gaming history. And that's true. I have actually played the original Madden game back on Genesis back in the day. Electronic Arts founder Trip Hawkins will be another major character in the story. Hawkins was a prodigy who created his own paper and dice football game as a child and hoped to one day have a computerized version of the game. He played college football for the Harvard Crimson and studied computing, developing a game for early computers. He founded Electronic Arts in 1982 in order to realize the dream of taking the paper and dice games of his youth and turn them into computer games. In 1984, he approached John Madden, Hawkins, Madden, and game producer Joe Ibarra, then took a 2-day Amtrak train ride. Madden was scared to fly. That is true. Where they hammered out the core concept for the Madden NFL game. However, Madden and all his big personality would take a more active role in planning and designing the game than Hawkins or the teams at EA ever imagined. Kicked off an intense and difficult process of getting the game made in a way that brought the realness of the NFL to personal computers. Even after John Madden Football debuted in 1989 on Apple II computers, it
Oh
wouldn't
God.
be until later in the early 90s with the breakthrough of console gaming that the series would finally solidify its place as a dominant force in gaming and scale flipping force in early console wars. John Madden remained a colorful, to put it mildly, figure all throughout the hard road to success for the Madden NFL games, which is why the casting of Will Farrell makes sense. I don't think it does.
No, I don't see any sense.
I think it's a miscast. And you know, maybe we're gonna be wrong on this
Yeah.
too. Maybe he's
Yeah.
gonna knock one out of the park.
Yeah, you never know, just like Michael Keaton with Batman.
hmm
Mhm.
But looking at it right now, I say it's a miscast.
I don't think he's got the. I don't think he's got the balls. The balls to do it, and I'm talking about the talent balls. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got to actually not be Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell, when he's out there, is always Will Ferrell. It's like Will
hmm
Ferrell's playing Will Ferrell. Now he's actually got to play somebody.
Yeah. Somebody who actually lived and
Hmm.
breathed the NFL, who cared about the NFL.
Right. Whether people like them or not.
hmm
Yeah.
Yep. And the article goes on to say Madden is still making football players, coaches, fans, and analysts everywhere. Oh, I skipped a line. Sorry. It's still making headlines to this day for his commentary about the games, which he still views as a teaching tool for football players, coaches, fans, and analysts everywhere. He's not wrong. Even the way the NFL games are broadcast now has changed due to Madden NFL games.
Hmm.
Yeah. The influence that John Madden had in that game series and impact that game series has made on video game culture, that's gonna last forever. I mean, there's
Hmm.
still gonna make Madden games,
Hmm.
and it's gonna have its name until someone decides it's no longer gonna have it. But at that point, that'd be just taking away all your income of profit.
Well, I think it's just going to be synonymous, like Jimmy Dean the sausage. How long has it been since Jimmy Dean, who was a singer and just put his name, sold his name to the sausage company? I mean, he's been dead. I don't know how long. You still have the Jimmy Dean commercials, and they lift up sound bites from him talking about from old commercials. I mean, there's things that become synonymous even after a person has passed. And when it comes around this football, it's going to be John Madden because of the influence he made on trying to do a good football game.
Mm-hmm. Well, that also be like if somebody were to do a movie based on the late Vince Scully.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure that that person. I know they can use prosthetic makeup to make them look like Vince Scully,
Mm-hmm.
but that person has to sound like Vin Scully and emphasize words a certain way, like Vin did.
And moves, how they moved. If they talked a certain way with their hands or their body movements, you have to watch these films of the people and see how they acted. And that's just as much of a thing because it's a body language.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down to something that's even so simple that during Empire Strikes Back, Peter Mayhew had something happen with Peter Mayhew. I can't remember if it was an accident or he got sick. So they put some other tall guy in the Wookiee suit. But they had to refilm those scenes because the person who was doing it didn't have what Peter Mayhew was bringing, the movements and how he made that character his own, even though pretty much he was doing pantomime for everybody. It showed. You have to, even the simplest things, take note. That's why, in some ways, with Rogue One, the scenes that they had with Vader, especially when Krennic and Vader were talking, it just didn't ring right because he wasn't having David Prowse's proper movements. The actor was playing that. Yeah, it's like just because you have a big presence, like a bodybuilder's that presence like David Prowse had, there were certain things he did in stances and hand movements and such that you can catch right away. Oh, that's him. That's Prowse. Oh, that's not Prowse. So it comes right down to it. You got to watch. If Will Farrell's wanting to do this, he's going to have to watch a lot of Madden. He's going to have to watch a lot of, even back when he was coaching on the sidelines and see how he walked and talked over there. Because this is where an actor shows that they can actually do something other than the bubble of bleeding, bleep, bleep, that they do in Hollywood.
And Phil's right about this. The first Madden NFL game wasn't even an NFL game. It was just Madden football.
Yep. Then somebody got smart somewhere along the way, say, hey.
What if we get a licensing agreement with the NFL so we can use the teams? And then, of course, get a licensing agreement so we can use the actual player names.
Right. I mean, I wonder who came to who first, or was it a mutual thing?
That's what I'm interested in, and I really don't know the answer to that question.
Because that would be a fascinating aspect of the whole thing. I mean, I'm sure if we dug a little bit, we'd find out. But still, I mean, that's the evolution of how these things come. It's for all you know, they met together and they both had the idea at the same time, and they're on the same page, and boom, they got smooth.
And I do want to say hello and good afternoon to DJ Ronnie G.
Nerd. And his turtles. Hi, turtles and tortoises.
As long as they haven't gotten away from him.
Yeah. Well, the pizza man was by, so.
And the Padawannabe says, My idea is that Tecmo Bowl is archaic compared to this game. This could have been a game that led to discussing licensing movement also. I don't know why I butchered that. But Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, you mentioned Tecmo Bowl. That was a popular game, especially on the NES and the Genesis, and that could have taken off if they'd taken the right steps. But it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be that Electronic Arts, now everybody just calls it EA for short, and John Madden were the ones to reap the rewards. There had been other football games that have been released, but none of
Hmm.
them have been able to reach the success that Madden has.
No, and really, other sports franchises don't really have that boom. To associate. Baseball. You don't have a baseball game that you can say, "Oh, that's Whitey Ford or whoever." Tom Kelly, baseball. Uh, even soccer. I know Pele, and they try. Pele was always associated with that. But when you have the soccer games, it's just FIFA. They don't really even have a player or a coach that they can have as a mascot. Really, in
Mhm.
some ways, Madden was a mascot as well as he's a contributor. It
Yeah.
was just much of his presence that helped make that. And then him being on Fox for doing the sports commentating, that didn't hurt either. I mean,
No, that just made people go, "Hey, wait a minute, John Madden," and
hmm
then the John Madden football game,
hmm
and let's not forget he was a spokesperson for Tenactin
hmm
and Ace Hardware.
oh yeah, Ace Hardware. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware. How was it?
Boom, tough acting Tenactin.
Oh, I
I know
forgot
I
about the
came out of
Fanatic.
nowhere with that, but I was just
Yeah.
trying to think. Okay, what was it that he did in the commercials? Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he was being Madden.
Yeah, you got tough athlete's foot. Boom, tough acting Tenactin.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
In some ways, we're losing characters in sports.
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say Madden was a big personality,
Hmm.
and that's what you need. You need to have these personalities in your entertainment.
Hmm.
You need to have these personalities when it comes to your coaches. I
Hmm.
mean, baseball, you had Sparky Anderson, Tommy
Right.
Lasorda,
Hmm.
Earl Weaver.
Hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, for us, we had Tom Kelly, who was always fun to watch because it was no expression. He was just kind of sitting on the side there. And when when he the times when he did get animated was always interesting to watch. But it was always you could see him on the side there calculating. And then during the trainings, he'd be out there with a cigar. It's like no smoking except for Tom Kelly.
Hmm.
I met him. I met him. He was a nice guy. He really was a nice guy. Oh, is a nice guy. I mean, he's still alive. But
Yeah, and I do remember this. I mean, it was a duo between Madden and Summerall.
hmm
If you saw Madden, more than likely you saw Summerall.
hmm right. And even when it comes around the players, I mean, here, of course, with Minnesota, obviously, I'm partial that way. You had the late great Kirby Puckett,
Hmm.
who was until the day he died just worshipped by Twins fans. And the one thing that helped that was he stayed with the Twins. When he got to the Twins, he stayed with it till the end of his career, and afterwards he was in the offices. Even when he was offered more money to go to another team, he stayed with the Twins, which was a smart move because by doing so, yeah, he might not be getting as much money playing the game, but all the endorsements and love that he was getting here in Minnesota more than made up for it.
Hmm.
Of course, you had Kent Herbeck also, and Gagne, and all these others that we had.
Oh yes, the Rat, Gary Gaetti.
Yep, Gary Gaetti.
Yeah, man, was he a pain when he played the Cubs? But I'll never forget when the Cubs picked him up on waivers in the '98 season, and the Cubs had that tiebreaker to determine the 1998 wildcard team between the Giants and the Cubs. And Gary Gaetti hitting that home run, and I'm going, the Rat did it! The Rat did it!
I mean, honestly, right now, if you started listing off baseball players right now, I probably wouldn't even know who the hell these people are. Not even the Twins. I don't even know who are on the Twins no more. They're just that magic is gone.
Mm-hmm. It truly is. I mean, no wonder attendance is dwindling. I'm not saying for every sports league, but there are sports leagues where it's dwindling. Baseball's one of them.
Right. I mean, in football, you had the fridge. Remember Refrigerator Perry?
Oh. Yeah.
And the size of his ring, because his fingers were so big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lyle Zato, the late great Lyle Zato, was always fun to watch.
Yeah. Whoop is right. Plus, that the Cards have had not just a lot of superstars, but personalities. Yeah, they have.
Right.
I mean, who can forget the Wizard, Ozzie Smith? I can't. Heck, Bob Tewksbury, he was even a character.
Oh, even when it comes around the coaching, Billy Martin.
Yeah.
And his feud with Steinbrenner all the time. And he was third base coach for the Twins, so I mean, so he had a Twins connection. Yeah, I'm going to throw Minnesota's connection in. I'm that type of guy. But I mean, what a character that guy was.
Mm-hmm. And the Padawannabe says, and of course, if we talk about this game, we must mention the cover curse. Players on the game would not usually have a good next season. Yeah, it's also part of MLB The Show. Players who are named on the cover of MLB The Show really 9 times out of 10 don't have a good season.
Don't curse them. Hey, we want to put you on the cover. No. I mean, and of course the sad thing, I think the one last really big hurrah we had with baseball, and of course it turned out to be a big phony, was the Sosa and McGuire.
Oh, yeah, the home run chase 25 years ago.
Yeah, I mean that was for me. That was the last really great thing that was really exciting and getting people going for baseball. Of course, later on we find out how much of a stage thing, and of course let's not forget the steroids that were involved in that one. Yeah, but they were needing something to get interest in the game because they're coming off of some hard times. What was that? That was 98.
They're coming off the strike.
Mm-hmm.
The strike ended the 94 season, and then for the 95 season, they had replacement players. Well, then the unionized players come to a deal, so we have a strike-shortened season. And they're talking about how attendance is low. It's still low in 96. It's still low in 97. So you have the home run chase between McGuire and Sosa. Heck, Baron, I can remember going to a game at Wrigley in Chicago in July of 98 against the Rockies. And as soon as we got to the ballpark, myself, my mom, my dad, and our neighbors from California, they met us in Chicago too. As soon as we got there, Sammy hit a home run. And we were all excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still remember my friends and I were walking up the ramp. Sammy hits a home run, and the three of us, we do the Sammy hop.
That
I
must have
mean,
been interesting.
it was, but that's how much fun we were having. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter if you're watching baseball, football, or any other sport, or if you're a fan of, Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who.
Hmm.
You get excited about the stuff. If you're excited about playing Dungeons and Dragons, then be excited about it. Don't let anybody tell you not to.
Right.
Show your excitement.
Yeah, because there's moments out of that stuff you always remember to the day you die.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the 91 season, the Twins' attendance was really low because they're coming off of they went from worst to first, literally. And it was one of Chuck Knobloch's first games. In fact, when they put his picture up on the board, they had to, airbrush out the team that he was, briefly with before he came to the Twins. But I started watching that guy. It's like, my God, he's not a home run guy, but he knows where to hit that ball, and he can get singles and doubles.
Yeah.
If you want a solid single and doubler, it is him. And he played the game he played at shortstop was great as well. I mean, when he faked through the ball to I can't remember who it was first base to Herbeck, and they thought the person was out, and they threw the whole game off. That's baseball. That's psychological warfare.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what baseball's about. You don't see that no more, but now you get bigger bases and a time clock.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on that. Yeah, I'm bringing this up, and Whoopa, I know you're gonna smile. You
Mhm.
also have guys who are managers who don't even have the experience necessary to be a major league manager,
Right.
because these teams think they're gonna do this hotshot deal where, hey, we have this former player who was on our team, we're gonna name him manager without
Mhm.
experience. Well, how's he gonna get experience? Oh, we'll just hire some coaches that have some coaching experience or some managerial experience, and it'll be fine. No,
Right.
it doesn't work that way, folks. Just like with any job, you have to get the experience.
Mhm.
You have to start off somewhere to get the experience before you can move up the ladder.
Mhm. Like we were just saying before about Billy Martin. He started off as a third base coach. I mean, I'm sure he had other job coaching type, but he was a third base coach. Then he made it to a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He went up the ladder. He got the training. You need to do that. I mean, it's not a PR hire that you're trying to do. We've had that here with the Twins as well. Can't remember who the player that became the coach, but it's like, no, you're a great player, but you're not a good coach. Even Gardenhire wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing fans say, "Oh, they need to get rid of Ron Gardenhire. He's not doing
Mhm.
anything for
Mhm.
the Twins." I mean, it's the same thing with people like Alex Kurtzman.
Mhm.
He's not a good writer, and he's
Mhm.
certainly not a good producer.
Mm. No, he's not even a good story idea guy.
No. So you need to have somebody who's there from the start. They learn as they go. They learn from other people. Go ahead and say it. They have a mentor for the position.
Mhm.
And then once they're ready, then you give them the position. You don't just give it to them outright, but I know trophies,
Yeah.
participation trophies, to be more
Mhm.
specific.
Or we're doing a check on the box.
Mhm.
Okay, we got all our bases covered for the diversity and inclusion.
Yep. And Whoopa says the best players don't always make the best managers either. Look at Gretzky. He was an
Mhm.
awful coach. And it was
Mhm.
because things that were easy for him, other players weren't even thinking about. Yeah. Yeah. What
Mhm.
works for one person doesn't work for another. Sometimes there are certain things that you just can't teach.
Right, and it goes the other way too. You can not be a good player but a great coach. Wasn't that? Oh, I just had my. I hate when I have a name. My brain is really Swiss cheese. Um, but I'm trying to remember. Lasorda wasn't. Yeah, that was Lasorda.
Yeah, yeah,
He played
yeah.
minors. He
Tommy.
played minors.
Or
Yeah.
or even Don Zimmer.
Yeah. I mean, just because you're not a good player doesn't mean that you got the more technical minded. You can be a coach. You just couldn't translate that over to being a player. Same way with the other way around. You got that technique for the playing, but you just cannot bring it over to being that coach and expressing that. So and sometimes you get the person who can do both.
I mean, what ticks me off about David Ross is, he'll start talking about how the team's underperforming, but he'll then say a remark like, well, we're lucky that the rest of the division sucks. It's like, worry about your own team before you start even thinking about your own division.
Right. Focus on what's important.
So I'm going to go ahead and look for another article for us to talk about.
Oh, you're okay. I'm just trying to think of something myself here, but I don't know. I'm just kind of laid back today,
That's pretty much how I want it to be today. Just lay back, relax, and.
Well, what's great is I had my injections on Friday. They didn't do my lower back; they did my neck, which actually I am glad they did that first because I think that was when that was really giving me the most trouble. And of course, Friday night into Saturday, I didn't sleep good because steroid injections will do that to you. At least it does it to you. One of the side effects is you're gonna have a hard time getting sleep. Yeah, I know. And I just had the most. Yesterday, I was like, but I had a good sleep last night, and I'm feeling a lot better.
Good.
I mean. And that's why, but on the side, I kind of got a little bit of my snark is gone because when you're in pain, you get a little bit more to Paul in, the center, circle gets a square, like snarkiness. I'm a little bit more laid back, and it's a beautiful day. The birds are chirping, the squirrels are screwing. It's beautiful, and we're 1 hour, 1.5 hours in this talk, and it's like, okay, we got through those articles, but we're talking about everything.
It's all right.
Yeah, we're mocking Cashman. That's the most important thing there is.
Yeah, we got to mock him when he's not here. Just like if I'm not here, I expect you guys to start mocking me.
Oh, you know it. And then when I'm not here, don't mock me though. No, I don't get mocked.
Yeah. Okay, folks, you're finding out the rule that Cash and I found out. When Baron's not here, we can't mock him.
No, rules for thee, not for me. Remember that.
Real quick, I'm gonna see if the box office totals are out.
Oh yeah, one of the biggest things while you're doing that, I'm just gonna say one of the things that kind of torques me off a little bit is when someone gives a zinger at me, but I don't hear it. And I want them to repeat it. They don't want to repeat it. It's like, no, tell me what it is. I want to hear what you said because I'm going to put it in the box and use it for myself. It's good. It's like, you got to love those things.
You got to be able to make fun of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be able to laugh at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, some people, they take themselves too seriously. I know there are times where I can be serious when the situation calls for me to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
But, something like doing Pop Talk, I just want it to be relaxing. I want it to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get passionate and heated now and then, but that's what makes it even more fun. And then sometimes we go completely off the rails, and it's like, have we been shadow banned yet?
I don't know. Hey, YouTube, have we been shadow banned yet? I probably shouldn't have asked that.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you poked the bear. You poked the bear. And what you're doing, the one thing I've been seeing, some people are upset that Lizzo did not get cast as Ursula in this Little Mermaid film because it went to Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, whose talent is basically it was her show, the whatever it was, where they were in Chicago. That was about the only good thing I think she did. I am not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of hers.
I don't find her all that funny.
No.
But she's not the only comedian I can say that about. I mean, there are other comedians nowadays that I've seen. I just don't find them funny.
Yeah,
they don't have that whip. They don't have the snap that comedians like George Carlin did, where he can get your attention right away. That's what I call the snap.
Right.
He says something, you're paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, or even when you're acting in a part. I mean, look, let's face it. I mean, when you see you brought George Carlin. Look at Miss Rufus in Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't a big role, but boy, did he own it.
Yeah, he made everything his.
Mm-hmm. And he had a
And,
great voice too.
oh yeah.
But yeah, well, you said the important word in that one, Appian. Oh, hit the wrong one. The kinda funny.
I mean, there's funny, and then there's kind of funny, and I guess if you can get a few chuckles in the crowd, I guess that's good.
But I don't want chuckles. If I want to see something funny, I want it to be, where you have more than just a few chuckles. And it's just like, oh, that's pretty good.
You want that hearty belly laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. And here's what I can't stand is when you go to a comedy club and the comedian decides to make you part of his act. It's like, no, I'm not here to be part of your act. I'm here to laugh.
Right. Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it does. It depends on who you're dealing with. I mean, if it's Don Rickles, you're part of the act.
Yeah, yeah.
Rest his soul. But there's some comedians that don't do it right. I mean,
he had a way of doing it.
Oh, he did. He did. And the thing is, it wasn't something. I think the thing is when they do take someone and make them part of the act, they dwell on it too much. It's like if you do that, it's like a hit and go.
Mm-hmm.
Hit and go. It's like you don't dwell on the people, and I think that's the thing. If you just kind of go and hey, you Baldy, it's like and then blah blah blah, and leave, and you have that big laugh off of that one, and that's it. Those work, but yeah, when you go and try to get the person to be part of the act, it's like, wait a moment, I paid for this. Where's my money for this?
Yeah, where's my cut?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting your cut. Where's mine?
Mm-hmm. Oh, if you want, I know he put up Andrew Dice Clay with it, but one who is head and shoulders better than Andrew Dice Clay, Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison.
Say it. I mean, if you wanted to have the quote unquote insult comic or whatever, it's like he was it. I mean, he was always fun. Andrew Dice Clay, but that he was always for them. It hurt when he died.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the shortlist to be Al Bundy of all things. I'm glad he didn't go with him as much as I like him, because Ed O'Neill was the best Al Bundy. Mm-hmm. I can't picture anybody else. And that's just it too. We're talking about comedian Ed O'Neill. They said they knew he was the perfect choice for Al Bundy when he walked in to his audition and basically sighed and slumped and said, "That's him. That's Al."
Yeah. Sometimes when the actor steps into the room and just their presence, just the way they're acting, especially when they get a hold of the script and you can see the wheels turning for anybody when they, are told the description of something and they're like, I've got something. It's like Fat for Hire when he comes up with his memes.
Oh God, yeah. The meme king.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy can do it.
When he's on a live stream and he's hearing, these ideas, or he's watching, a live stream and he's hearing something, the wheels start turning immediately and he's up. I got something.
Yeah, if you don't hear him talking, you know something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, you had to bring up one of the greats also, Rodney Dangerfield. I'll tell you, get no respect.
I tell you what, I get no respect.
That man was a smart, cultured man. Basically, what we saw was all an act, and sometimes he got frustrated with that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is he was so beloved. Yeah,
I mean, One of the movies I went and saw was a movie that he was in was Ladybugs.
Oh
When
yeah,
I was a
yeah.
teenager.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
I went and saw it because he was in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, Rodney Dangerfield's in it. It's got to be a good movie. If it's not, it'll be at your dollar store any moment.
Well, I mean,
all right, I know that was bad. I know. I can't promise that I can do a good Rodney Dangerfield. I would be cast as Rodney Dangerfield anyways. Just like I don't know that Will Ferrell's a good choice for John Madden.
I tell you what, I get no respect. But yeah, I mean, well, you saw him in Caddyshack. I mean, what a great performance. He had like Back to School and Easy Money, and like you said, Ladybugs. I mean, it's hard to believe he's gone because he was such a part of life through the whole thing. I mean, even like Don Knotts and Tim Conway and those guys in what they have for he had the one-liners jokes, but the one who beat him with that was Henny Youngman. Henny Youngman was the king of the one-liners. Take my wife, please.
Yeah, and yes, Ladybugs was the girls' soccer movie. Yes,
and he had the boy dressed as a girl so they could win the game. Yeah.
And of course, Phil, being Phil, because he hates us all.
Yeah.
Says, get it right. One best was Jackie Gleason and Paul Lynde, hands down.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mention Paul Lynde earlier about being the snarky, but yeah, Jackie Gleason, the great one himself. That man was a genius as well in so many different areas. I mean, the man didn't know a note of music, but yet he wrote music. I think the Honeymooners theme was his concoction. And boy, did he party. Yeah.
And no, Phil, nobody should watch Caddyshack 2. Nobody.
Yeah. Poor Jackie Mason. Jackie Mason was a good comic. It's just a shame that Paul doesn't want anything to do with him because he saw him in Caddyshack 2. So no, Jackie Mason's a good comic. It was a bad role.
It was a bad script.
Oh, should never have been done. I mean, even Dan Aykroyd couldn't.
No. Yeah, would you suck the poison out?
Yeah, so fun. That was so funny because of the cringe. It's not funny because of what it's just like, oh my God, you can't believe it. How the mighty have fallen, Dan Aykroyd.
Well, I mean, even Chevy Chase only showed up for a cameo.
Right. He was there's some sort of obligation or something he had to do with it, or I can't remember. But other than that, he probably wouldn't have done it. But I
wouldn't blame him.
I mean, Ted Knight and Rodney Dangerfield, I guess those two didn't get along with each other, which made the part even better.
And I have the box office mojo numbers for this weekend.
See what we did there, folks? We're doing this distraction while he was working because we're professionals. Don't try this at home.
All right. So here we have it. The box office totals.
The
Little Mermaid made $95.5 million.
Yeah. Not in China.
Okay. I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to rip off that Band-Aid. That is very low, especially for a Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend has always been your traditional kickoff to summer.
Right.
And you want to have those large tentpole movies premiere on this weekend because usually a lot of people go to the movies. But to only make 95.5, that's low.
And to be honest with you, I don't believe it. I think that's high. I think that's inflated. I would say more 80. But because how they like to cook books and make it sound like they're making more money, because this is such a divisive film. They have to try to do something, and Disney's never played around with money figures before, have they? Not at all. The investors are completely happy with the accounting of the books and projects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and when they only have 13,000 tickets sold in China, and it's like they're not interested in it over there. Probably not even getting bootlegged over there. That shows. The big thing is it getting bootlegged in China? If it's not doing good.
Yet now here's something that's interesting. I just clicked on to the link and look what it's saying now.
Yeah, 107.
Interesting.
But stupid. Now, what they did is though, because I know a lot of times they open a lot of for this weekend stuff opens up on Wednesday, so they can get that extra little oomph because people are taking time off, take time off early and all that. To get your location, make the weekend a little bit longer. So it's just kind of curious on that.
Let's see. This movie only opened on Friday.
Okay. But I noticed that the numbers were going down as it went along through the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, 21.1%, 8.3, and then 20. Of course, that's what they're estimating in for tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's surprising too. You think if Disney actually believed in this film, they would have released it on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it only came out Friday.
I don't know. Something's fishy about this. I mean, it really is. I mean, international open of 68 million, 117 here, domestic 185. I don't know. This film, so many people are soured by this, and not necessarily even because they're doing the race swap or anything. People are getting tired of turning animated films into live action in general, and I just.
And some people have given it good reviews, and then others have said, if you don't have somebody that that's 5 or 6, don't waste your time.
Mm-hmm. And I hear the crab is extremely creepy. That's what I've heard. And the seagull too.
Yeah, I saw a clip yesterday on Twitter that somebody had taken from the movie of a song, and I'm thinking, what's this song doing in The Little Mermaid? It doesn't fit with the rest of the songs that are in the movie. It doesn't.
Right. And that was the magic that Disney could do with these films. The music was focused on what's going on with the story. Even when we were getting into that new renaissance where they start off with Beauty and the Beast and the original Little Mermaid and the others like that. They obviously brought in people like Phil Collins. They brought in the Piano Man himself, not Billy Joel, but I'm just in upstate. I'm too relaxed, man.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. What's his name?
All right. I gotta look at that. I gotta look at it.
Yeah. And maybe our peanut gallery in the chat can help this feeble-minded old fart here on that. But even when they brought in those, they kept the music and what they're singing about a part of what's going on with the movie.
Elton John,
thank you. Yeah.
and Bernie Tupman.
Mm-hmm. And they were the big writing team for that. And what did they do? Again, they wrote some great music that was to what the movie is about.
Mm-hmm. So, other movies for this weekend, you had Fast 10 at 23 million. And that's a considerable drop from its opening weekend last week.
Mm-hmm. Now, is what I'm hearing true? That Vin Diesel wants to make Fast 10 like a 3-parter.
I actually saw a clip where the interviewer went up to him and he let it spill that it's going to be a trilogy.
Let it go, Vin. Let it go.
Please. We've had enough. Three would have been enough. 3 would have been enough.
Well, you didn't want them to go in space?
No, I didn't want the one in space. No.
Well, they're trying to chase down the Tesla that was shot up there. That's what it was about, But yeah, it's going to be Fast XXX now, XXX.
And the ironic thing is saying that he was in the first XXX movie.
Mm-hmm. I know. See what I did there?
And I caught on to it. I saw that pitch. I swung.
Yep. Swing and a hit. Out to right field.
So Fast X 23 million. Then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 20 million. I still stand by my rating for it, 6.5.
Mm-hmm. And it's still kind of doing pretty good. It's been out how long? Yeah.
It's been out for a while now. Super Mario Brothers. It's made 6.3 million this weekend, but it's made 1,278,766,975. So that's not bad. Not bad at all.
No, that's numbers that Disney would like to see. Wouldn't it be funny if the Super Mario Brothers just handed Disney their butt? I'd love it.
It'd be a nice change.
It would be. Well, it was not the first time. They've had a few. Look at Lightyear. Cash's favorite movie.
Oh, Cash praises about it all the time.
I know.
Even in our Discord, he's always talking about it.
I wish you'd just shut up about it.
You guys really need to watch Lightyear. No, Cash. I don't care how good you think it is. I'm not watching it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, and no, I'm not saying this to be funny. I don't know if the Little Mermaid has the legs, let alone the fins, to be one of the great hits of the summer. I really don't.
Well, the big testimony will be next week. I mean, this is, like you said, this is Memorial Day that people run and, hey, let's go see a movie. But will it have the legs afterwards? Again, the big thing is word of mouth. Word of mouth is still a powerful tool. And if someone goes out there and say, don't see that hot mess. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. And the person is reputable. People will listen to that. They will.
And the thing is, it's going to be tougher because guess what comes out this coming Friday?
I don't know. What comes out this Friday?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Ba-ba! Yeah. But that's a Disney one, so they're competing with themselves.
Actually, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that's Sony.
Oh, that's going to be Sony? Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Sony's going to stick it to him with a Marvel character. I like that. But we'll have to see if that's good or not. But it looks like there's some pandering in that movie.
Yeah, there does. And of course, I wish my theater was getting Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh,
I wish it was. I mean, gosh, if it was, that'd be a fun movie to go see. That's my favorite movie right there.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
But here's what I don't like. Call me old school. Now, no, and they've been doing this for a while. It's not a new revelation. But calling it Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, no, it's Raiders.
Right.
It's Raiders.
It doesn't flow, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It doesn't flow. The name is powerful enough as the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Then Indiana Jones and Temple Doom and Indiana Jones and the Lost Crusade. Those work. But no, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. It'll always be Raiders of the Lost Ark. As much as I love Wendy, it's like, we know it's you.
And then, of course, on the 9th, the big tentpole movie, for that week will be Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
It looks like they made Optimus look like his old self, not the flat-fronted a rig instead of that like the Peterbilt.
From what I can tell from the trailer, it looks like they took the Optimus that was in Bumblebee and inserted into this movie. Now, I'm not really keen on going to see the movie, but because my curiosity is there, I might go see it so I can judge it for myself.
Sure, I'll hear the pain afterwards.
But even so, I do have to remember something that Optimus said, and unfortunately, I don't have that clip on here anymore. But in G1 and More Than Meets the Eye Part 3, Optimus did say there's a thin line between being a hero and being a memory. And I'm not trying to do it to be a hero. I'm just going to go see it to judge it for myself.
Then he
I'm not going to be one of these people that go out there and say, "Oh, you shouldn't see this movie. You shouldn't see that movie," and having not see it. I'll be honest. I don't have any interest in seeing The Little Mermaid because I'm too old for it. I'm too old for it.
Well, yeah, honestly, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. So naturally, I would not be predisposed to go see the movie. But I'm still not happy with what they've done with it because I think they're tampering with something that doesn't need to be tampered with. Again, just because it's not something I like, I will still defend it. And with all that, but wasn't one of the other lines that Optimus Prime had was "kill them all." What was that Peter Cullen was sitting back saying? There was a line that they made him say in one of the Transformers movie where he sat back and said, "Optimus would never say that." It was something in that line.
I think it was in the second live action Transformers movie, Revenge of the Fallen.
I think, yeah, that's it. And it's like, no, Optimus would never say that.
No, Optimus is supposed to be exactly that, optimistic. He's supposed to be that bright hope. And go ahead.
Oh, good. And and I was just going to sit back and say, and if you want to have a template for doing the proper Transformer movie, look at the animated film they did in the 80s. That thing moved. You wanted an action film, there was hardly a moment where nothing was happening. It was like, from the moment the film started till the end, it was boom, boom, boom. And I forgot how soon in the movie that Optimus was not with us. It was like, oh, that's right. It wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't that long after this.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly?
Yeah, that was like in the first 10 minutes of the film. So, I mean, most of that film, you didn't even have Optimus in. But the thing is, you didn't have time to really dwell on it as much as it still affected you because it's like, we still have a job to do.
Yeah. Still had a job to do. They had to stop Unicron. They had to stop the reformatted Megatron, now known as Galvatron.
Right.
Because underneath that new plating, it was still Megatron.
He was just given new life and being used as a puppet.
Yeah. And the thing is, as other people have said too, is wait a minute. Unicron did Rise of the Beast, but he was teased in Transformers The Last Night and in that movie. And I'll go ahead and put up the spoiler card for anyone who hasn't seen
it.
But for that movie, instead of Unicron like he's depicted in the trailer for Rise of the Beast being out in space, in The Last Night, he was actually a part of Earth. So, who knows?
I think when we do spoilers, we have to do this before. Spoilers!
Yeah.
we should put the alarm on there, too. But, yeah, I mean, look at that film, and that's how you do a Transformers movie. It's still the best. Still the best.
And I'll be honest, there are just times I just want to see a stupid comedy or a stupid action flick.
Mm-hmm. You got the touch, you got the power. Yeah, I mean, the music they had in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just it. That's what we want. We want escapism.
Yeah.
We
want to
want
be able to
Go
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, we want to have a couple hours to get away from this world and this madness. And, maybe that's one of the reasons why people are getting the way they are. We're not getting that entertainment, the proper bread and circus to get our minds off of something that's not having getting shoved down our throat and being told that these people are bad, or, you're a bad person, or, whatever. We just don't have that. Where you just go see a silly film like Airplane and the comedic genius that film was. Are going out, even for a popcorn flick like Masters of the Universe. Yeah, it had problems, but still, it's a fun film to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Langella chewing the scenery, that's worth the price of admission right there.
And isn't that what you want to see in a movie? You want to see the actors that they cast in the movie. If there's a scene where they're supposed to chew up the scene, don't you want to see them do just that?
When someone's loving the role that they're doing, which, in Master of the Universe, Frank Langella did, and it showed. I mean, Max von Sydow must have loved playing Ming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just look at how he played the character of Ming. And or Brian Blessed as, as the Hawkman. As that goes.
Gordon's alive?
Yeah, I mean, it just, you can tell when someone is there for a job and when someone really loves that role. And that's what helps make it even go even further. And it's hard to see people nowadays that seem like they really enjoy the role they're doing. It's just like, okay, I got this. My agent told me I should do it. Here we go. Look at me. I'm a sparkly vampire. Ooh,
look at me. Hey, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
God, you know what? I was just thinking about Tony Shalhoub and Galaxy Quest. Yeah, hey guys, they're telling me that our crystal is broken and we can't go anywhere. Okay, so I didn't say it exactly, but
yeah,
it's that kind of delivery.
He did a great job in that movie. He really did. Yeah.
Never give up. Never surrender.
I couldn't watch that film for a long time because it kept on getting played over and over again. And it's just kind of, okay, I've seen it enough times. Let's watch another movie for once. But it's still a great movie. Don't get me wrong. Everybody did a great job. Oh, everybody did a great job in that film. I mean, you could tell they were all having fun.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Rickman.
I
did 14 years of Hamlet. Now look at me.
And the funniest thing about that is he was always wearing the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Not one scene in that movie he was not wearing his makeup. Yeah, I got tore up in the fight a little bit, but he was still always in makeup through that entire movie. And that was even one of the funniest. He's at home talking on the phone. He's still in the makeup.
Yeah, I know. Talking to Sigourney Weaver, and they're of course talking about Tim Allen's character Scott, and
that is one of the best Star Trek films ever made, right there. Really, it is. That if there's an homage film to Star Trek, that's how you do it. Again, that's how you do it. You poke fun. You don't make fun. You poke fun.
And I love how the Protector on its registry it says NTE, not the Enterprise.
Little side jokes like that.
Perhaps I'm not as stupid as I am ugly.
And of course, who saves the day? The Geek Boys. I didn't get a chance to razz you on that one. I was going to say you got a chance to enter Wesley when you were playing that game. yesterday. Oh my God! I saw a little bit of because I was went down the YouTube rabbit hole the other night, and they were talking about that the bridge set was for Picard, spectacular looking thing, but again, all it was for member berries, and that's all. I mean, didn't really serve a purpose other than that.
Yeah.
But then they showed a little clip of Michael Kuda and Ferret Face walking on because he was from they have to identify him from the ready room because people don't associate him with Star Trek no more. And other than that, it's like he's a joke. And my God, he is the epitome of soy. I looked at his arms and it's like, holy cats! Everything about that boy is soy. God. I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for him back in the day because people picking on the character Wesley and all that, and it's like it's the character that have a problem with, not the actor and all that. But then he had to come out and be who he was. It's like, okay, I take everything back. I'll do a lot.
I mean, you do try to separate, the artist from the art, or the art from the artist, however you want to say it. But then there are some people. It's like, I don't like your character, and I don't like your personality one bit.
Oh yeah, no matter how hard you try, it's just something about them just oozes on there. I mean, like look at Alec Baldwin. Oh, did I made the apology? I have not made the apology yet. I meant to do that a while back because you've done your apology because you said something that wasn't quite right or whatever. I have to do that now and man up. Remember when I sat back and said that he will be put into trial and things will not be good because he was New Mexico instead of LA? But they let him go with a slap on the hand for murdering somebody. And I guess I was all wrong. I would have thought that maybe Hollywood must have had a little bit of pressure about saying if you do something, forget about your film industry, because New Mexico does have a pretty good film industry going on there.
Yeah. I mean, when I made trips to the Albuquerque area and Santa Fe, as you're going along I-25, you do see the movie studios, and you see the sound stages.
Yeah. I mean, when I was down there, I was because my grandfather lived in Santa Fe, so I went down there and they had one of the sets that was used for John Wayne films and such. And at the time, they were doing one of the Gambler movies down there. So we drove down and we could see from the distance everything all set up and such, and traveling around. My grandmother was showing. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Robert Redford fell in love with New Mexico. Did the Managua Beanfield War down there?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just. So I have to apologize to everybody. I was absolutely sure that Alec Baldwin would get slapped with something because he was not in Hollywood, but in New Mexico, and how that would look bad for them. That we had a movie industry, but someone got killed because of Alec Baldwin being a schmuck, as well as the weapons handler. But no. So, then they had that fake picture where he's being consoled by his wife or whoever it is he's beating up this week. Hearing about it and how we're supposed to feel so bad for him. It's like, no, I don't feel bad.
I don't.
No.
He was the producer of that film, and he should have double checked behind him. He should have double checked in front of them. He should have watched it like a hawk to make sure everything was exactly as it should be. If there was something off, fix it. Right.
And and then they go and continue making the movie, and it's like that's like doing the Twilight Zone after Vic Morrow and the two Vietnamese kids got killed. I mean, show of hands out there in the chat. Who's going to want to see Rust when it comes out? I mean, put the yays or nays in the chat. I think you know what my answer would be.
I'm not going to go see it.
No.
I'm not going to waste my money on that.
So I just want to have that formal apology. I was wrong. I was absolutely sure, but sadly, it was not to be.
I thought it was going to happen too, but it didn't. And, well, I was wrong.
And that's the sorry state of Hollywood. Meanwhile, back, 70, almost 100 years ago, you had a poor guy railroaded by the name of Fatty Arbuckle, where they're more than happy to crucify him for something he did not do.
It just goes to show that in 100 years, we as a society really haven't changed.
No. The nature, I wish I could be optimistic about a Star Trek future, but it's going to be more of a Babylon 5 future. And God, I hope it's not a Warhammer 40K future.
Oh gosh. But speaking of Warhammer,
yeah,
I know you already downloaded it.
Yeah, not Gladius. I haven't played it yet, though.
I downloaded it too, and I hope Cash downloads it. And if anyone else out there has it, maybe we can all get together and have a match or something.
Yeah, it's free on Stream right now until I think the 1st. So it's normally like a $40 game. But yeah, I heard that it was free, so it's like, okay, I don't know if it's good or bad. I know it's got like mixed or mostly positive review on it. But I figure, okay, if it's FRWE, what do I have to lose? So yeah. I got it, but I haven't had a chance to even look at it.
Yeah, it's like some games on Epic that are free. I've downloaded. I haven't played them yet, but I've downloaded them. It's like, okay, it's free. It means that I don't have to put any of my money toward purchasing the game. They're giving it away for free. So I'm going to download this game, and if I like it, great. If I don't like it, I'm not out anything.
Right.
It's like when Epic Games had Shadow of the Tomb Raider available for free. I was like, all right, I'll try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to get into the game and go, this isn't really my kind of game. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much, I completed it. And then I played Tomb Raider. I just got to play Rise of the Tomb Raider so I can experience, that whole trilogy.
Right. And, and of course, they got me also on their, because they had so many games that were so on sale there that were at a ridiculous price. So it's like, okay, I buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that. I want to get that bolt gun. Yeah. I want to get that bolt gun, but I don't know. It's $19.99. It's $19.95. It's not expensive, but I know there's gonna be a sale soon, anyways. I'm that type of guy. Someone said frugal. It's like, you got it.
Well, I can't wait till you, Cash, possibly Paul, maybe Crit, if he has time when he gets off work, play Broforce.
Oh yeah, I got it right there. I want to get back to Among Us too. That's fun too. Both of those games are. As long as Paul doesn't announce that he's the killer.
Yeah, Paul. Next time you're the killer, don't let us know.
No. I might suspect you are.
Let us find out on our own.
Right. Yeah. Let me vote on it, because it'll give me a joy to have you ejected out. If you let us play, if you do not tell us that you're the killer, your secret fan will say this to you.
Master Paul can fluff my pillows Navy style any day.
You'll hear that in person.
And we're talking about the game Among Us, YouTube. We're not
No.
Actually talking about somebody committing murder and killing somebody. We're talking about Among Us, the video game.
Yeah, we're video gamers, not Alec Baldwin. Sorry, I had to do that one. No, that's fun. Broforce, because I played a little bit of that Broforce just to get kind of a little bit of a handle on what's this game about? Now I can get ready for Mike and Cash and the others. So I can't wait. I think Thursday, we're talking about that. Don't hold us to that.
Yeah. Please don't hold us to it. That's all in Cash's control.
Yeah. So it might never happen. I had to go down to the whole market and get some kale.
Yeah. I had to go to the store and get some groceries, and then I had to go to the Whole Foods and get my kale, and you know Pacific. And how many times have I told him? You don't have to call me Pacific.
Oh,
You can call me Mike.
we have fun calling you Pacific though sometimes. He actually called me by my real name not too long ago.
Yeah, I do know it, but I am not spilling the beans.
Oh no. I mean I don't care, but I mean he actually called me by my name once. It's like, well, you can do it for me, you can't do it for Mike.
Well, yeah, Pacific. I was watching your stream, and man, you got to work on your stealth abilities. You can't go out there and ramble stuff. But Cash, I like to ramble.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, I picked up way too many games with these sales. Oh,
I I can't tell you that I'm an innocent man, but I can tell you when I see a game on sale, I do pick it up.
well, now I got the Star Wars Battlefronts, both versions. You know, the 1 and 2 of the original OG good ones, and the new ones because they were just so cheap. So it's like, oh, the hell with it. I'll get the other ones too. I haven't gotten the new Jedi Survivor or whatever. I won't. I got Fallen Order.
Wait.
I'm gonna wait. First of all, it's too damn expensive. I can't. I'm frugal. I can't remember how much I got Fallen Order for, but it was a ridiculous price, and that's the reason why I got the Fallen Order.
I know what so you're talking about because I picked it up too, even though I already had it for my PS4. I wanted another crack at it on PC.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so I think at that time it was only $6.
Yeah, I think that's what I got it for. It was about $6. And let's see, Space Marine. You know, of course, I got that on both Xbox and on the computer. The anniversary edition. I think that's going for like 19 until the first. $20. That's a damn good game, though. That's it.
Yeah.
The Dawn of War games, I got those. Those are fun with that's the Warhammer. I had to get the X-Wing series for the Star Wars Force Unleashed 1 and 2. I mean, again, when they have those sales, boom. Okay, I'll do it. Maybe I'll get to play it sometime here.
That's what I need to do sometime is get X-Wing and TIE Fighter and just play those old school games because I can remember one time I'm playing X-Wing and it was over at Chaos's house.
Oh, okay.
And I had these TIE Fighters behind me. So all of a sudden I just start moving the mouse up and down just ever so slightly. And every time they shot their lasers, they would miss me.
You were juking.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at my radar and my X-Wing is all in shambles. I have to get back to base for repairs. It's like, okay, they're coming there. I'm gonna juke over here and see if I can still avoid. I don't remember if I made it back or not, or if I was eventually destroyed.
I'm sure you were destroyed.
I probably was.
Yeah, in that game, you're destroyed. That game did not show mercy. It really, really didn't.
PC games back then didn't show mercy.
I gotta find my joystick so I can play it. I got a joystick and it's packed. Where? I don't know. I can hold off. I even got the X-Wing Alliance. So
nice.
I know. I mean, I don't know. Cash says, I didn't know you had stuff and did things with Steam. I talk about it all the time.
You mentioned it in many conversations we've had backstage, many conversations we've had on Discord.
Yeah, I was with Among Us with you guys. You know, there I was.
I know.
I think I'm 6 years. I think I'm 6 years on Steam now. My first game was the Mad Max game, and I got that for like $5.99. That's a good game too.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at my profile and see how long I've been with them.
Yeah, let me take a look at mine too. I think Cash finally added me as friend on there.
Oh, it took him long enough.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Wait, girls are barking. Just a second.
Not a problem. I'm looking. Let's see. Let's see.
Now,
played.
we have this nice house. We have this lovely couch. The missus is out there on the couch. Where do the dogs want to be? In the den here with me, the office with me, doing this show. And Honey's looking at the door. I don't know if I should open up to let her out, but you know what? I think, well, just one moment. I'll be right back. Oh, this would be the perfect. This is actually the perfect time to play this while I'm doing that. Come on, move faster.
And we're back, folks. Well, at least I am. Aaron's still out with his dogs.
I have no idea what they're barking about. They probably heard. The long suffering.
Oh, they probably heard that you on Pop Talk and said, "Wait a minute, we're never part of the show. Why aren't we part of the show?"
They're always part of the show. I don't think I think it's. I think you can count on one hand the amount of times that when I've done streaming that you never heard a dog.
I know. I'm just trying to be funny.
Yeah, I know. The missus, I think, is doing laundry, so it's like they got excited. It's like, yeah, throw them in the laundry, throw them in the washer, clean them up. Dirty dogs. Mouse, get off my mouse.
Let's see. Still trying to find how long I've been on Steam for. I know I've been on there for a while. I just can't remember if it was 2014 when I signed up, or maybe it was later than that.
Well,
I'm just thinking it was 14.
Yeah. Well, I just went to view my profile right there on top. 6 years of service. I got 300 XPs for that. As my where the the main screen over on the right there. And oh yeah, there's Cash. Wait a moment. You said Cash Money is with his dad?
That's what he said.
Then why is he online on Steam? No, he is. I'm seeing right there. I mean,
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. That's you know what? I'm saying it, folks. I'm saying it. That son of a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, Master Paul hasn't been on for almost a month. You're online right now, but obviously, because we're talking about this stuff. But Cash Money is online. He lied. He lied to us.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a tell you.
All right, we're gonna have to talk to him.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to have a meeting with Cash.
5 o'clock meeting, folks. 5 o'clock meeting with El Casho Money-O. El Casho Money-O. This is not acceptable. You know what it is? This is what's happening.
Cash Money can put his change in my piggy bank any day.
That's what's happening.
Yes. It all adds up now.
Right. Yeah, he was with his family. Yeah.
That's what he told me.
But Steam, there he is online. He's not listening to us because if he was listening to us, he would have jumped off. Like, I wasn't on there. It must have been a glitch. Did you refresh the browser?
Well, it's not showing me how many years I've been with them, and I'll explain why. That's because in order to make everything more cohesive, last year I did change it from my old username to PACIFIC414. This way, if somebody sees me on Steam and they want to friend me and play a game, it would be easier for them to recognize. So that might be why I'm not seeing it, or I'm just not looking in the right spot.
Well, I just looked at your account here. I don't see it on there. I just see you're level 7 like me.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right, level 7. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's hear it for the 7s. So let's see. I'm looking at Cosmic Book News. I'm not really seeing anything that makes me want to actually jump at it and talk about it.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a slow week, actually. Kind of quiet.
Yeah.
People are just getting ready for the holiday and taking the time off, enjoying, having relaxed streams like this.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Now, this one here that I found makes me very skeptical.
We got a skeptic alert. I can't wait to see.
All right. Transformers Rise of the Beast reactions. One of the best. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I should believe that. Don't believe everything you read, right?
Well, this is cosmic book news. They can be iffy.
That could be sus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there more than meets the eye? See what you did there.
Yep. Oh,
This
you
was
know it.
posted on the 25th. It is by Matt McGloin. And it says the first batch of Transformers Rise of the Beast reactions have hit social media. And per the norm, they're all positive. Bear in mind, these types of reviewers always say good things about a movie, like they did for duds such as Thor Love and Thunder and Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. But hopefully Rise of the Beast comes off pretty good because it does look cool. Worth a mention is that it has also been said the flick had major problems, so let's hope they ended up fixing things.
What other problems he had?
I don't know. I'd like to have the poster just with Optimus.
Right.
Nothing against Primal, but Optimus.
Mm-hmm. Because you're optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's my Optimus. And the reason why I say that's my Optimus is because he's still voiced by Peter Cullen.
Oh, my God. Well, go ahead. Go on, and I'll cringe when you get to that point.
Okay. Transformers Rise of the Beast will rise or fall. Synopsis. Returning to the action spectacle that have captured moviegoers around the world, Transformers Rise of the Beast will take audiences on a 90s globe-trotting adventure and introduce the Maximals, Predacons, and Terracons to the existing battle on Earth between Autobots and Decepticons. The Autobots include Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen.
Thank God.
RC, Liza Koshy, Wheeljack, Sistro Fernandez, and Mirage, Pete Davidson.
Why?
I don't know. I don't see his appeal.
I don't either. The commercial he did for Christmas time with the shavers were just cringe creepy.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Oh, no. Well, he was chewed up and spit out by Kardashian anyways. I don't care.
True. Mm-hmm. The Maximals include Optimus Primal, Ron Perlman, Cheetor, Sanjay Carissa, I might have said that wrong, Air Razor, Michelle Yeoh, Rhinox, David Sobolov, and if I'm not mistaken, he's actually voiced a few characters on some Transformers series. Let me just double check.
It sounds familiar. Here. And of course, depends on what Ron Perlman does with tweets and all that. He is a good actor. He has a presence. I like watching him. I really do. That's something I can actually do. Separate the art and the artist because he is such a. When he does his personal stuff, it's just so crazy that it's easy to do that. It's like, okay, this is your actor.
Yeah, he was actually in Beast Wars Transformers. That was back in the 90s as Depth Charge. And I do remember him voicing Shockwave and Transformers Prime. So you've got two actors in there who have actually voiced characters for Transformers series. So
and he's got such a great voice too.
Yeah, he does. All right, so it says Coleman Domingo voices the multiverse planet-eating Unicron. It's never going to be the same without Orson Welles.
No.
And making up the Predacons include Peter Dinklage as Scourge.
Dink, 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 dink.
John DiMaggio as Stratosphere, but John DiMaggio has actually done voice work for previous Transformers live action movies.
Yeah, in fact, I think he was even in the movie, the original Transformer movie. I think I saw his name.
And Michaela MJ Rodriguez has Nightbird, and Toby Ningui. I'm trying here, folks. I'm trying. As Reek. And it goes on to say Transformers Rise of the Beast has a June 9th, 2023 release date, directed by Stephen Caple Jr. And it goes on to say, what are the reactions? I'm not going to read them all. I'm just going to skim through a few.
Oh, this is really sus. This one's sus. Go ahead, read it. This is sus.
Right away. Right away. This is where it's sus. It's a blast. There's a lot of references to the Transformers universe that will wow fans. Anthony Ramos is amazing as Noah, and the team is great as always. But the real standout is Pete Davidson as Mirage. Yeah.
X for doubt.
Yep.
Must be his cousin.
Goes on to with this one, happy to say Transformers Rise of the Beast is one of the best installments in the franchise. It's a lot of fun. CGI looks great. I don't know. I've seen some of the CGI. There are parts of it that don't look so great, but hey.
Mm-hmm.
The screening I saw actually had people clapping. Are we sure that they were clapping because they enjoyed the movie, or were they clapping because the movie was over? Let's see. Mike Reyes, Transformers Rise of the Beast was a blast. The other guy said that too.
Mm-hmm.
The Beast Wars crew finally shows up in what's arguably the best Transformers movie in the run. There's a lot of heart, humor, and Brooklyn pride in here. Hey, Brooklyn! Hey, Baron, how you doing, eh? Where you from? I'm from Brooklyn.
Bronx is a toy tud.
Yeah. Hey, how about them Yankees? Hey, Dodgers ain't here no more, so guess what? We in Brooklyn, we root for the guys in the Bronx. Let's see. This other one says Rise of the Beast makes good use of the animated movie's storyline and integrates the Maximals and Terragons to good effect.
Yeah.
All right. Maximals and Terragons. If any G1 Transformer fans are out there, you remember that the Terracons were part of the Decepticons.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a combiner group. And they formed Abominus.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Predacons in Beast Wars. It was the Maximals and Predacons. Granted, the Predacons were also a combiner group in G1 Transformers who combined into Predaking.
Mm-hmm.
Which I actually do have all 5 Predacons. I have them because Amazon several years ago for a Transformers anniversary had a reissue and it was a good price, so I picked it up. All right, let's see. It goes on to say in this one, Transformers Rise of the Beast delivers one of the better and more coherent installments in the franchise. Yeah, they're all saying it's good, but I don't know. Totally dug Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's got some issues in the middle, but it starts strong, has fantastic 90s hip hop. Okay.
Okay, that sounds a little bit more of an honest because he's bringing out some downside. But again, here's another one. Pete Davidson steals every scene. Yeah. Okay. Get your machine with these fake accounts and stop it.
Mm-hmm. Transformers Rise of the Beast took everything that worked from Bumblebee and amplified it. Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback delivered great performances, and Pete Davidson's Murad stole everything he had. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it.
All
I
right, I'm
really
not
can't.
reading anymore. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think
I don't believe it. Sorry. Not sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, if you want to see it, which I'm partially tempted. Not gonna lie. Partially tempted, but go see it, judge it for yourself.
Right. Right. I mean, again, like you, I'm not necessarily a person to say don't go see it, but I sit back and say, this is, why I don't think it's good type of thing. But it's up to you. It might be your thing, but yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not going to see this. I'm not going to see this.
All right. So, Baron, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, not really. I mean, we managed to struggle through this without cash. I don't know how we're able to do this without cash, but here we are, over 2.5 hours later. We're still here. We got people still watching, and we don't have cash. I can't believe it. This is the high note. We're going out on a high note.
Yeah, we are, and
maybe we don't need cash anymore.
Oh, wait, maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves there.
Oh, that's right. That was for the meeting after the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on, man. We gotta keep certain things on the down low. We don't want to know what Cash is thinking because he doesn't let us know, but we don't need him to know what we're thinking. We don't need to let him know that. Well, yeah.
I mean,
extinction to all traitors.
And that's because he's showing that he's online on Steam.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's on there. He's on there online. Cash Monet. So is Orca Boy. Crit, where the hell are you?
Yeah. What gives, guys? What? Are you too good for us?
Yeah, they are.
Wait, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna beg. But come on, man. Really?
There's no crying on YouTube.
I suppose not. But anyways, is there anything you'd like to promote before we go?
Well, just honestly, I don't know if because it's a Memorial Day or not. I'll have to see what 24 says, but hopefully 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's a Primetime Kings of live stream with the Tower of Power himself, 24/7 Fusion Media, the ever mysterious Vigilante Williamson, cruising around from the Hollywood Knights, New Bomb Turk, and myself. So hopefully something will be up on that for tonight. We'll have to see. But again, it's the holiday. Of course, you can catch me here on Pop Talk Sundays and Wednesday. And for the foolish people that decide they want to have me on their streams too, usually that pops up. So
very nice, very nice. Mm-hmm. I am getting those links. It's just taking me a little longer because I don't have everything all set up on the Twitch side for any of the YouTube links because I left that for the YouTube side. But I thought today I would try streaming on both platforms and just see how it goes.
Hey, Twitchies.
So there's the link to 24. And I do want to say hello to Superfan Adam Shawhan.
Yeah.
Says have a great weekend. You too, brother.
Where the hell have you been, soldier?
Yeah. Say, where have you been? Say, and I'm grabbing your link as well, Baron. So if anybody wishes to visit your channel, they can and subscribe. Baron's worth it. Now, as far as PACIFIC414 is concerned, whether it be on the Twitch side or YouTube side, I really don't have anything planned for this week other than Wednesday's Pop Talk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna schedule a stream for later on in the week, or if I'm just gonna lay low this week. Haven't quite decided. I'm gonna see how the week goes. To be honest with you.
I'm sure you'll be gaming somewheres and showing it something.
Yeah, probably.
What's next on your list for that?
Probably since I've finished Resurgence, I'll probably go back to Jedi Survivor. I do want to start streaming Rise of the Tomb Raider, and both of those games will be multi-streamed, hopefully on both YouTube, Twitch, and also Kick. Unfortunately, Kick has been giving me some issues right now where it's not letting me stream over there, and
so
I just find it funny. So after this stream, maybe not immediate, but after this stream, I'm going to run a few tests to see if I can't get it to work properly.
So here's a reenactment. Here's Mike. Hey, Twitch, can I stream on you?
How about no?
Twitch, I have no problem streaming.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kick. I'm sorry. Yeah. You guys got too many of these things. I have a hard enough time with what I have.
I want to try it out. I want to see if it's a good alternative or if it's something I should forget.
So forgettable. That's what it is. Yeah.
but of course, in case anybody hasn't checked it out yet, I am on Rumble and I'm also on Odyssey. So if you want to check out those pages, I'm just grabbing the links for the Kick page real quick, and also Rumble and Odyssey. So if you want to, and you don't have to. Nobody's ever obligated to click on any link. It's up to the individual.
Do it, especially if it's from a prince from Nigeria. Click the link. Do it. Good.
Emperor Palpatine? Oh, wait a minute. we did see a picture from ICC, but I don't think it's appropriate for us to mention what we saw, but it was quite interesting.
Yeah, it's disturbing. Quite disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
But here's kind of a reenactment of what happened down there.
Vader! Nothing says vacation over quite like seeing you again, you big breathy bummer.
Welcome back, my master. How was the singles cruise?
Well, let's just say there wasn't a cloud in the sky, which was confusing since it was raining chick.
Wait a second. If all of you are standing here, who's manning the battle stations?
Yeah, we didn't really think about that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to hear what a certain individual has to say, Has to say about his trip
His
to the dark
allegiances.
side.
Yeah, his allegiances, his loyalties.
Where do his loyalties lie? I wonder.
Yeah, I question that. It's kind of frightening.
Now that he's had his meeting.
It's like cash, too. I mean, I'm getting nervous. I'm waiting for Order 66 on us.
Who knows? It may be occurring right now.
Next week it'll be cash and a few of the others. It won't be us.
I mean, if it's going to occur on us right now, all I got to say is red alert, all hands, battle stations.
Yeah, it was a good run. It
was fun while it lasted. But I do want to thank everybody who was here today. I first want to start off by thanking Baron Orman Tagge for not only being in the chat, but also being my co-host here on the panel. It's always a pleasure to have you here, brother.
Why, thank you.
And of course, Kathy, I'm sorry your phone wasn't cooperating, but hopefully we'll be able to get you on sometime soon. Hopefully there's an update that comes out for your phone, which allows you to hop on, and because it's been a long time since you've been on Pop Talk, and Well, we need to get you on the panel. We need to get your perspective on the panel.
Definitely.
And of course, we also had Prismatics here. Thank you, Prismatics. Jet Sparks was here. We also had the lovely Leia Rose. And you know what? I need to get in contact with her and see about her coming on sometime.
Are you sure? Because she is the president and sole member of the Phil McCracken fan club.
Well, then maybe she can explain a few things.
Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah, then that's a good thing. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. And of course, we had Real Wade Gaming Clips. Good to see you, Wade.
Yo.
Apion, good to see you. I see that you also completed Star Trek Resurgence. Congratulations, Captain. And of course, everyone's favorite, Low Spec Linux Laptop. Thank you, Low Spec.
Hail the Penguins.
And Roll Tide to Kill Each Hell. Roll Tide. We also had the Padawannabe. Thank you for stopping by, Padawannabe. It was a pleasure to have you on the Star Wars panel on Thursday. Definitely have to have you back again sometime soon, too. And we also had the president himself of his mercantile shop, Gap After Dark.
Mm-hmm. The hairy business.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we also had Whoopa Troopa. And he says, I respect it, Mike. And that was to the sound bit of Cartman saying, respect my authority. That's right. Respect it. But here's the man. He doesn't respect anyone, anything, anywhere. He hates us all. Phil McCracken. Thanks, Phil. Always appreciate it, brother. And also, DJ Ronnie G. Don't listen to Phil, DJ Ronnie G. Don't listen to him on anything he says. Wear as many white shirts as you want. What? He likes to say he's full-blooded Italian. Whatever, Phil. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, the super fan, Adam Shawhan. Say hi to your wiener dog, too, for us.
Oh, yeah. From one wiener dog owner to another.
Yes. And anything else before we head out, Baron?
Not that I can really think about, except again, hope everyone has, remember what this weekend is about. This is about not celebrating, but honoring. And just remember these people. Now I sound like Gash saying that. These people who served for us and died in service, there was for us. I mean, yeah, we might have disagreements about the conflicts they're a part of, but there were people that volunteered. Many of them, others, other times were obviously drafted. But even in those times, you had many people who volunteered and did their bit and served their country. And again, sadly, we lost too many out there. So just remember that. Just remember who has gone before us, and take a moment of your day or time from flipping hamburgers or watching a game, and think about that, and dwell upon it a little bit, and maybe that will get a little bit of, if everybody out there in this country would actually take a moment and do that with a solemn mind, maybe it'll start bringing things back into perspective.
Mm-hmm. That's what we need right now. We need to take a moment to step back and look at the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
There's more important things to look at than worrying about who has the latest and greatest shoes or the latest and greatest TV, phones, houses, there's
Little Mermaids,
bigger picture out there. And if somebody says hello to you, smile and say hello back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. We do, and I mean this. We need a kinder world.
Mm-hmm.
A world where we're not at each other's throats all the time.
Right, because even kind of we were touching it before about with the Furious about family. As a nation, as a state, as a city, we as a nation are a family, and that's what's the important thing is we are in this boundary. You think of our borders as the walls of our house, and this is the house that we live in, and it's not sitting back saying it's like we're excluding other people, but just like they have their houses, and they have their houses they take care of and they love. And yeah, you go and visit each other's houses now and then. But we are family. We are family. It's not a bad thing to be someone who wants to make your country as good as it can be. And part of that is gaining back your humanity. Part of this is getting rid of your narcissism. Part of this is realizing that there's a bigger scope at hand. And a holiday like this, and remember, holiday comes from holy day, which means there's reverence in it. This is the perfect time sometimes to start for somebody is to think that, there was somebody who was in a trench and took a bullet to the head or the heart. Or maybe they didn't die right away and it was an agonizing death, but they did it because they were serving their country, their family, us.
Honor those who have served, whether you knew them or not. Pay respect.
Right.
If you see a flag where the person buried there at a cemetery served, just take a moment of silence.
You see that field of stone? Just reflect a little bit. That each one of those stones is a person, or maybe two people, because sometimes a couple people are buried within there because of family, husbands, wives, stuff like that. But each one of those stones is a person, and they're not with us.
Who had a life, and unfortunately, you won't be able to hear their story because they're no longer with us. But what stories they could have told you,
right?
And who knows? It may have made you a better person hearing their point of view.
So, how on the Armed Forces Network they were listening to the ball game before they went out in battle, or onto the plane that dropped them in the D-Day, or whatever it might be. The sitting in that canteen, waiting for the whatever inevitable going into battle. But sometimes the ribbing, the joshing, playing cards, whatever it is to kill that time, and the stories and the BS they spew back and forth before going there, making them it was made the name of the series, A Band of Brothers. Family.
I mean, think about the bomber pilots during World War II. Taking off from England and going on that long flight to constantly bombard Germany. What they had to do to fill the time before they got there, and none of them wanted to be doing what they were doing, but they had to.
Right. I think about my grandfather who was on a C-47, and of course, what they're doing, they're dropping soldiers out into battle, and it's like, how many of those people that are on your plane are going to be alive after this? Especially on D-Day. And it's like, it's just just knowing that you might be looking at someone who will be dead in maybe a few minutes, maybe an hour. They might not even make it down. They might get shot before they get to hit the ground.
Or because a lot of these were night drops, they might land in the tree, and because of the speed that they're coming down at and the impact of the tree, it could kill them.
Or injured them greatly, and there are many people that went POW because of that.
I mean, I think about my grandfather on my dad's side. He was a B-17 pilot, a a lieutenant in the Air Force, and I'm grateful I got to know him for the time I got to know him.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't very long, but I still got to know him.
Right.
And my grandfather on my mom's side was in the Navy. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 months shy of a year before my first birthday.
Mm.
So I never got to know him, but the stories that my mom would tell me about him,
Mm-hmm.
I know I would have bonded with him.
Right.
And if you ever get to speak to a veteran, speak to them
Mm-hmm.
because you never know what you're going to learn.
Right.
You're never too old to learn.
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
I'm so grateful that back in 2002, October 2002, there was a bombardment group reunion for the 486. And that was the bombardment group that my grandfather on my dad's side was a part of. And I was able to meet the only surviving member of my grandfather's crew
Mm-hmm.
who was still alive, and that was his navigator. So this gentleman, I'm not going to give you his whole name, but Bob, he had stories to tell, and he had stories to tell about my grandfather. I learned things about my grandfather during that time that even my dad didn't know.
Yeah. And sometimes
And
those stories are interesting, very interesting.
yeah, and some of these stories were stories that my grandfather did not want to tell my dad.
Mm-mm.
But I am so grateful I got to meet him and so many of the men and women who were a part of that group during World War II. I
And
mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm in an odd position right now because when I was younger, we still had a lot of World War One vets, and then it's
mhm,
just like boom, 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 they're going, going, going. I don't think there's any World War One vets around anymore. And now I'm starting to see that with the World War Two vets. It's the same thing, and it's like wow, it's just these oral histories that are going to be lost, and these are stories. I mean.
mhm,
Uh, and that's why stories are sacred. That's why we fight for what we do with ours. I mean, obviously, compared to their stories, they're nothing. But these are the things that give us hopes and dreams. And then you start hearing stories of people doing real things for us, like that. The risks. It puts stuff in balance. And yeah, I'll never be ungrateful for what they've done. I never will.
mhm. I mean, one of the things I do remember going to that reunion was the men and women and their reaction to me and another young man being there.
Hmm.
And there was another young man there too,
Right.
but they were surprised that we even wanted to be there.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you exactly how it happened for me. My dad had found out about it. He got in touch with the guy that organized it
Hmm.
to, find out what's the proper way to get the badges and, if possible, stay at the hotel that they were having this reunion at.
Hmm.
And then my dad brought it to my attention and he said, "Is that something that you'd like to do?" I
Right.
said, "Absolutely." And then we find out that they're going to have a B-25 there. A
Ooh.
Dragon His Tail was its name, and they also had a B-17 there
Hmm.
called the 909. No, unfortunately, in October of 2019, the 909 crashed when it was up in Connecticut, killing 7 people on board, including the pilot.
Hmm.
But, going up there and spending that whole weekend up there in Richmond, Virginia, and just sitting back and listening. And yes, I had questions and I was able to ask those questions. But for the most part, I sat back and listened. We went to the Air and Space Museum up there in Richmond, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and we started looking around at the different exhibits. And there was one exhibit depicting one of the air battles in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys there who was part of the reunion, he was commenting on the B-17, and he says, I was a tail gunner in a B-17. I went down in that tail section when it was shot away from my B-17. And I survived. I was badly injured, but I survived. And luckily, I wasn't captured by the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I landed at a farm who, when I identified myself, he didn't hesitate. He took me in, and it's because of that gentleman I'm still here today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody had their stories, and it's just it's always been important to me to learn from history,
Mm-hmm.
and to make sure that it's never repeated. And you can't ignore history. There's good history that you shouldn't ignore, but you shouldn't ignore the ugly parts of history, because those are the parts of history you need to make sure never happen again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, whenever I hear somebody say, oh, that didn't happen, this didn't happen, I don't know, were you there?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I spoke to some people who were there, and it happened.
Right. You kind of have this thing, and I actually saw it too. It was like the skis against the atom. It was the story of about the skiers with the heavy water plant in Bergen, and they did make a movie with Kurt Douglas movie. I can't remember what the name of that movie. The skis something from Telemark, or skis from Telemark, or something like that. But I did see the guy who did that raid run where they skied in and they took out the heavy water plant in Bergen. And some college pencil neat geek, ferret face like Will Wheaton was trying to tell him, no, that's not how it went. You're telling a guy who lived the fucking thing.
I mean, that's something that takes a lot of gall to tell somebody who was there. That's not how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't there. This gentleman was there. He is telling you exactly how it happened.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, instead of shooting off your mouth, why don't you sit back and listen for a change?
Well, that's because he went to college. He's smart.
Well,
He knows everything.
You know what? Just because you went to college doesn't mean you have common sense.
Doesn't mean you're smart either.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, these voices, they need to be really heard and remembered, especially when they talk about the Greatest Generation, the sacrifices made with World War II. Yeah. This is why we fight, folks. This really is. Because we don't want those that went to college and will tell us, no, this is how it really went. We want to have the people who tell us how it really did happen. And yeah, you had soldiers come back and told the big tall stories and such, and there I was. I mean, and we all know those stories. We hear those stories, but that's not always the case.
Of course, some stories are going to be embellished a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's interesting to hear stories from the people on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing what they had to say and their approach and how things were for them. And yeah, they were the enemy. Again, many of their soldiers just average people fighting for their country. And even though It might not be a good country. A lot of people didn't realize fully what was going on because, when you have a propaganda press, you don't get the full story.
No.
But, you had heroes on all sides, and you just had average people that, they were working in a shop. They get called up for service, leave their wife and kids, and even, they may not come back. And they have their own form of Memorial Day for that. So, yeah. It's always great to hear the stories from everybody.
Mm-hmm. And on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know if they were going to come back alive. And even if they did come back, they didn't know what condition they would be in.
Mm-hmm. Or hear about the frustrations they were having because we were winning something. And their frustration that, they were losing. Mm-hmm. And you can sympathize with the average person, not the regime. Don't get, listen to the important words. You can sympathize with that person because, they're just the average person. They're fighting to win too. They don't know what's going to happen if they lose. They're scared too. So, yeah, it's always good to hear from the other side and realize there's humanity out there across the board. And really, we shouldn't have wars, but unfortunately, we're stupid.
Yes. We're slow to learn.
Mm-hmm. We're morons. I mean, we really are. And I said it earlier, it's hard for me to ever encompass the Star Trek universe, but, I can see more of a Babylon 5, and God, please don't give us 40K.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for joining us for this edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, not only on PACIFIC414 on YouTube, but also PACIFIC414 on Twitch and Paranorman Tags Phantomology.
Hi.
We hope that you enjoyed what you saw today. Make sure to smash that like button on the YouTube side, share out the stream. Consider subscribing to both channels on YouTube. Consider following the channel on Twitch. And until the next stream, this has been Mike. And I'm not just a baseball guy. I'm an all-around guy. Have a good day, everyone, and happy Memorial Day.
I still see you on Steam Cash. You can't fool me.
He's a liar.
Liar, I tell you. You know what he's going to say? Well, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. But, yeah, I don't know.
We know. We know exactly what he's going to say, and we're ready for it.
Yeah, yep. These people.